leaf blower before?
Well, it's for like if we pick up one piece of trash at a time, it's really, really slow going, and it's a lot of work. Whereas if we blow a whole lot of trash into a garbage bag, it goes really fast. And also there's like caked on dirt and leaves on the road, and that will really, really help with that. It was actually Commissioner Saucedo Guzman's idea in the first place, and he knows more about these logistics of exactly how it works. What was that, Commissioner? Can you explain more your idea about it as well?
You talking to me, Commissioner?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You're the
this is
you
the.
originally.
I only suggested a potential leaf blower to help with the sidewalk cleanups. Yeah.
Has anyone
Yeah,
tried
I
to
mean the
blow
idea.
trash? Has anyone tried to blow trash into a trash bag? Because it seems like a futile effort. I don't know. It just doesn't
No,
seem like it would work.
more just clearing the sidewalks after trash has been picked up. You know,
Yeah, but
just
clearing
like
them of what?
clearing of small debris, stuff like that. You know.
Okay.
I thought it would blow some trash into a trash bag.
No, I don't think it would work.
And some constituents really wanted a power washer, and we spoke about that at the cow, and we decided a power washer was really not good for several reasons, but that a leaf blower would be. You know, in the cow, we came to a decision. I think we had a mostly consensus that it was a good purchase.
Commissioner Henderson, you have your hand raised.
Yes, for Commissioner Roblin, when did Denise Victor or anyone from the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissions advise you that purchasing a leaf blower was permissible for the commission or by the commission?
It was at least a month ago. I have the email. I can look up the email pretty easily. She definitely okayed it. It's very clear. It's in writing in an email, Commissioner.
Can you forward that to me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. You're welcome.
Okay, discussion is over. We'll go ahead and make the vote. 5D01. What was that, Commissioner?
Aye.
Oh, 5D02.
Aye.
5D03.
Aye.
5D04.
Aye.
5D05. I say aye. 5D06.
No.
5D07. 5D08.
No.
And 5D09.
Yes.
Okay, we'll add that to the agenda. Those are the additions to tonight's agenda. Are there any other additions needed from the commissioners? Sounds like a no. We'll move forward with the adoption of April and May minutes by Commissioner Roblin. These minutes are available on our agenda, which was noticed 7 days in advance of tonight's meeting. And Commissioner Roblin has drafted the minutes and made sure to send them out to all the ANC commissioners. Commissioner Roblin, any comments on the minutes before you make a motion to adopt them?
No, unless anybody has any questions. So I motion to adopt the minutes for April and May.
Okay, Commissioner Roblin moved to adopt the minutes for April and May. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Arbuckle. All in favor of adopting tonight's minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay.
Opposed.
Any abstentions? Okay, with just one nay with Commissioner Henderson, the motion is approved. Moving forward, Commissioner Roblin, you want to place a motion on the floor to use Gov Delivery instead of MailChimp. Did you want to discuss that or put the motion so we can discuss that? I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, Gov Delivery is free and we pay for MailChimp. The OANC has gotten us Gov Delivery and they have a lot of trainings. It's a pretty simple system. I took the training and it looks great to me. And I think just the point is that it would be better if we didn't pay for our system.
Okay, did you want to put the motion on the floor so we can discuss?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yeah, I motion to switch from MailChimp to GovDelivery.
Okay, can we get a second on the motion?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Cobb, I believe first. On discussion of what Commissioner Roblin has stated, we currently use MailChimp as an ANC to give electronic notice outside of our website, our personal listservs, and the yard signs that you might see around South Ward 5. As Commissioner Roblin has stated, Gov Delivery is an option provided through the OANC free of charge. My only comment on that is I believe we should hold off for the next ANC commissioners to make that decision, just because we would pretty much lose our current listserv and have to start from scratch in the new government delivery system through obvious just by asking permission of our current the current emails and names on our listserv to switch over. So since we're not fully getting the wide scope of residents in 5G, I think we would lose some folks in that transition. So I would personally leave the decision up to the next set of commissioners, since I've addressed on a couple occasions that we need more OANC help to reach that greater number than what we have right now. Commissioner Henderson had her hand raised.
Yes, while I think switching to the government run system is appropriate and certainly cost effective, I'm going to vote against it because any votes taken at this meeting will not be binding. All of the votes taken by this commission are not binding because the issue of failure to properly notify the majority of ANC 5D residents and to properly notice these meetings, it's still an issue. I've reached out, as you know, because actually all of you have been on the email chain where I addressed Denise Wichter, who basically said that your current listserv of 1,300 persons is insufficient. The commission 5D has approximately 17,800 residents, and the majority of these residents have no idea how to access these meetings. So as Commissioner Sauceda Guzman just said, that there are some signs posted in the south side of Ward 5, of Trinidad. That's not proper notice. So you've been notified that you haven't done what is required under the Open Meetings Act. So I'd like to see how the rest of you respond to the lack of transparency and accountability of this commission.
I'd like to add that ANC 5D is properly following protocol by providing multiple methods of giving out notice to the meetings. It is upon the commissioner to make sure that their residents are getting those notices if they've actually stated that to be true. So for a comment to be coming from Commissioner Henderson, who's been in the commission for decades, I'm surprised you haven't found a resolution to the concerns that you're stating directly right now amongst those 17,000 that you say we're not reaching. We cannot force people to register to our listserv through our Zoom account, through our ANC website, through MailChimp, and we cannot force people to retain them emails on those listservs. People have this information. It's open public information. They have access to a website. If you are a commissioner and you have a constituent that doesn't have internet access, I think there's a greater conversation that you need to have there, overcoming for us in terms of the notices that we properly give out. If we're using our personal listservs as an ANC commissioner, using the ANC's listserv, placing it on public website that everyone in the world has access to, that's sufficient notice according to the law. And Denise Wichter from the OANC has stated that we are doing our due diligence, but obviously, like many other ANCs across the district, it's not enough. And that's why I've directly stated the OANC needs to address this issue, not little old 5D, because we have much bigger issues than trying to figure out who got the agenda or who didn't. Commissioner May, you had a question?
Yeah, have we asked ONC if it's possible to port a list over to Gov Delivery? Because it seems like something we ought to be able to do pretty easily to preserve our contact list.
I haven't asked that question. Commissioner Roblin may have asked that question during her training, but to switch over to something else, I think we'll ask permission from those folks on that list.
But I don't entirely agree with that. I think if we're continuing to email them from ANC 5D, if they've consented, the platform we email them through, I don't actually think that that affects their consent. I think that's just a technology question. I'm certainly happy to help get advice from OANC about that, but I don't think we're going to have to lose our list.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to import pretty easily.
And if there are any issues with importing, we could always have our administrative staff double check the list and make sure that everything's complete.
Yeah.
Additionally, I'm requesting a copy of the list of the current 1,300 persons that supposedly register for these meetings and receive ANC.
You have access to that information, Commissioner Henderson, through your ANC email. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and move forward with the vote. The motion is placed on the floor and it's been seconded. We've held a discussion to use Gov Delivery 5D01. What was that?
Aye.
5D02.
Nay.
5D03.
Aye.
5D04.
Aye.
5D05. I'll say nay. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07. 5D08.
Yes.
And 5D09.
Nay.
Okay, what was the total on that, Commissioner May?
5-3 in favor.
Okay, so we'll move forward and we'll work with our administrative personnel to get use of the new Gov Delivery. Perfect. Was that all, Commissioner Rowland, for Secretary? I think it is. Okay, moving forward, we're a little behind. We're moving with the Treasurer's monthly report. Commissioner Cobb?
Thank you, Commissioner. For May 2024, we had an opening balance of $37,633.72. We had two expenditures, our monthly MailChimp fee, and we renewed our Ring subscription for the security camera in the office for the next 12 months. Those expenses totaled $140.45, giving us a closing balance for May 2024 of $37,493.27.
Are there any questions for the Treasurer on the monthly report? Okay, with that being said, I want to make a motion, place a motion on the floor for the payment of the office internet. I move that we pay the Verizon internet bill up until January for the next commission, just so we don't fall behind on any payments and we have full access to internet in that space, especially since we have a security system for Ring fully operational. We've had a few hiccups in the last couple of months with folks going in there without our knowledge or permission. And since we had an administrative personnel, we got inventory done in that office space. So we have everything, every folder, every camera, everything that we have in there accounted for. So we want to make sure that we retain that and keep it secure. I move that we pay for the Verizon internet bill up until January 2025. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Rowland. We'll hold a discussion. I think Commissioner Henderson had her hand raised first.
I oppose the motion. I still don't have a key to the office. You
have access to that.
Commissioner, please don't interrupt me when I'm speaking.
Well, we're not going to let you lie.
Again, I don't have a key. You've not provided a key.
You need to pick it up.
I've requested a key to the office. You've not provided.
You need to pick up the key, Commissioner. It's Commissioner Arbuckle sent an email to everyone where to pick it up. You just need to go. Commissioner Cobb, you had a question.
Yeah,
I don't have a key, and I'd like a key to the office.
Go pick it up, Commissioner. It's available like everyone else got it. Go ahead, Commissioner Cobb.
I'm open to the idea of paying the files bill all the way through the end of all the way. This would be through January
Again, I'd like a
2025, so it would
key
be
and
Yeah.
a
direction.
new bill so the new ANC's first payment will be February, correct?
Correct. After they take
Okay.
reign of the information.
Okay. Do we have an idea of how much that would cost?
No, I don't, but we can, if we can collect that information and maybe set that vote for August, I'm all for it. I just would like that. I would like no disconnection while we in transition of commissioners.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I just, because it's such a large amount of money, I'd like to have more details and make sure we have everything, down pat and have the numbers correct before we vote on something like that.
Okie dokes. Commissioner May had a question or comment?
Yeah, mine was similar. I was just trying to get a sense of the total cost that we were talking about here before we or at least before I vote yes. I need to know what the cost is.
Okie
I
dokes.
think it's about 100. Is it 130
$60 a month.
or 140, 165 a month?
Yeah, round it up.
Yeah. So how many months is that?
That's January, December, November, October, September, August, July. That's 7 months.
Okay, well, I think we should,
times 165.
yeah, I think we should still confirm those numbers and also make sure that that is something we can do.
Yeah.
Commissioner Rose?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Carl, but we're going to pay it anyway, right? It's
We
being paid
are, but
every month, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
right, but there's a difference between paying a bill that's already due and paying bills in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because if we do want to pay for January 2025, which I think is a good idea, that's technically not going to be our commission. That'll be a new one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Gotcha. But we can do
I'll
it
work.
till December.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would just want to see the numbers. I tried to log on to files, but it's telling me that the password is wrong, so I can't get in right now.
Okay. I'll work with the administrative personnel to get those figures for next.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll take the motion off the floor so we can move forward with the agenda. Oh, and the treasurer, Commissioner Cobb, we also have to vote on the approval of the administrative personnel timesheets. If anyone on the meeting has access to the agenda, you can easily see the timesheets. And our administrative personnel, Andy Vaught, they worked 4 hours, again, to handle the inventory of that meeting space that we have available, our office space, and general onboarding onto the commission and as administrative personnel. I'll go ahead and make the motion, Commissioner Cobb. I move that we approve Andy Vaught's timesheets for the month of May. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. Okay. Do we need to hold a discussion or we can go forward with the vote?
Just really quick, remind me what the pay rate is again.
I think it's $27 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just, can we add that to the timesheet so that way we have everything on one page, the hours worked, tasks done, and total pay?
Okay, we'll make that amendment to the timesheets moving forward.
All right.
So can you confirm the amount that we're voting on then? 27 times 4?
27 times 4 is $108.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions or comments before we move with the vote? Okay, we'll start with roll call, 5D01. Was it aye?
Maybe I should wait a little bit. Aye. Maybe I should say
5D02.
twice.
Aye.
5D03.
Aye.
5D04.
Aye.
5D05. Aye. 5D06.
Opposed.
5D07. 5D08.
Aye.
And 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, perfect. Motion carries. Commissioner Cobb, if you could write a check out to Andy Watt, that amount, the month of May, we appreciate it. Perfect. So moving forward with our just regular administrative stuff for tonight's meeting, we have our standing presentation. And because we have actually We have Lieutenant Commodore on today, and he is in a bit of a rush. So I will ask if we can move him first before we do our commissioner report. Is there any opposition to that, Commissioner? No? Okay, perfect. Lieutenant Commodore, you are a panelist, and you should be able to go ahead and unmute yourself to give us a public safety report for ANC 5.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning to the rest of you commissioners. Greatly appreciate it. Unfortunately, I've had class, so I've been at work since 5 in the morning.
Oh, no.
To return back tomorrow. But I just want to give you all the weekly stats, or actually the monthly stats. So just let you know, in PSA 506, we're still, our violent crimes have still been decreased. We're decreasing our violent crimes. Just let you know, we have not had one violent crime in the month of May. So we've been part one free for the whole month of May. And unfortunately, we did get a violent crime in the month of June. There's a lot going on in PSA 506, but since I've been here, we have been seeing a decrease. I answer every single email, every single call from you all, especially like from the 1100 block of ROM, 1600 block of 11 place. And as you see right now, it's pretty much a ghost town over there. So our activities have moved over to Sims Place, the 1200 block of Sims, because we were able to clear the 1200 block of Mount Olivet. Now the activities have pushed over to Sims. And Commissioner Soseda, we received your email and we acted immediately. I believe you had some interaction or correspondences with Sergeant Taylor. We immediately got our CST team over there to do some operation because we just want to ensure that all of our streets in the Trinidad area, we want to make it a safe space, and we're doing our absolute best. But this is the first time in my career at 5D we've seen PSA 506 receive the least amount of crime throughout each PSA in the fifth district, and that's something that we can applaud. But I'm not satisfied yet because I want to see each one of these streets. As long as I'm here at 5D, I want to see each of these streets safe. People can walk up and down the street and enjoy their neighborhoods. And like I said, I rode past, and I did meet you, Miss Rose, on Central. But I ride through Trinidad basically on a daily basis, and I rode down the 1600 block of 11 place, and there was a woman cooking out with her kids. I haven't seen that all year. And it's a great thing to see, because as you all know, we got countless calls, and countless calls. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all what we're doing, when we have these operations, but just know post-operation, that, those two headache nuisance streets have been cleared. Hopefully that they don't return, and our next target is actually the 1200 block of Sam's Place. So if y'all can just please be patient. We have people over there. We just can't get rid of it overnight. It's going to take some time, but as long as I'm here, I'm going to continue to do my absolute best to, to make 506 proud, to be a part of, these neighborhoods. But, and with that being said, I'll take any questions.
Lieutenant Commodore, can you touch on the investigation that occurred with, I believe, a dozen arrests over here on Rom Street a couple weeks ago?
I'm sorry?
Can you touch on the investigation that occurred a few weeks ago on Rom Street that cleared some? I'm sorry, there's some reverb from Commissioner Henderson's phone. The investigation that occurred a couple weeks ago on Rom Street. I know you guys were doing your work behind the scenes, but when you're on the front lines of a lot of this, especially when you're a neighbor, it was very frustrating. So if you could touch on that investigation, so we know how to maybe kind of navigate or set expectations for Sims Place, that'd be really great.
Sure. What I'm able to provide, I'm sorry, all I'm able to provide right now is there was a long-term investigation through some of our federal agencies, which include MPDs, VCSD, violent crime, specialty division, and our Atlas division, and just a group of resources that collaborated with MPD to do an operation in the 1100 block of ROM, which include the 1600 block of 11 Place. So after warrants were signed, after months of grand jury, individuals were indicted, and it was time to take down some of these players that were causing havoc, that was wreaking havoc on ROM and 11 Place. So that's kind of all I can, share right now.
Thank you for sharing that, Lieutenant. And again, thank you all to the work that you all did and with collaborations with other agencies, federal and local, to get that taken care of. I was very patient. I know a lot of our residents were very patient, so we appreciate the work that happened there.
Yes.
We'll limit up to questions from the community in the Q&A function. If you drop your question in the Q&A, we'll see if we can add that to tonight's questions for Lieutenant Commodore. And we'll start with the commissioners first. 5D01, any questions? 5D02?
No questions. I'm just glad to hear that everyone is safe.
Perfect. 5D03?
No questions. Really appreciate what you've been doing.
5D04?
I just had one request. I had a neighbor reach out to me about the property at 1511 West Virginia Avenue. It's been vacant for a few months now, and I think it might be on the market or something like that. But basically, the neighbor emailed me to say that they've witnessed drug and prostitution activity happening back there. So I just wanted to put it on your radar.
Okay, and if you can email me that information, we can definitely put some eyeballs on that location.
Okay, appreciate it.
Perfect. And I'm 5D05, Lieutenant Commodore. We already discussed today with your sergeant regarding some of the activity on MIGs and some of the activity that's disturbing some of the residents on Sims. So we'll keep following up on those movements. 5D06.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commodore, for attending our 5D06 community meeting this past Saturday. I want to reiterate my concerns regarding the 1200 block of 16th Street. I have emailed complaints regarding drug activity over there, and the 1300 to 1400 blocks of Neal Streets Northeast. The usual drug dealers are still sitting out there in lawn chairs with their sidewalk memorial. This time they don't have a pit because that was removed previously, but we need constant attention to get them off of our streets. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. And we still want presence in front of Rose's Liquor, because the people, now you all have been doing a fabulous job at the Starburst Plaza, keeping a car there, but they're doing clandestine drug activity. And then of course they're going across the street to 830 Bladensburg Road. They're also hiding behind the window at the gas station doing drugs at late hours. So, we know that we ask a lot of you, but we need you to do more and to keep them from causing a disturbance in the community. Because of course, as we get closer to summer, typically our crime rate escalates, and certainly that's not what we want.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I greatly appreciate that. And if there are any areas or any locations in which is causing a nuisance, please feel free to email, because if I'm not receiving these emails, unfortunately, I can't put an eyeball on them. So once I have the emails, I can definitely pay some attention to them. I do work evenings.
I sent them to you previously, but I'll resend them.
Okay, please, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm sorry I missed it. But like I said, we would definitely love to. And what I always do, I go out myself and just survey to see what's going on, as I mentioned on Saturday, because I like to see the activities that are going on out there so I can address it properly. I just don't want to blindly send resources over in that space, not knowing what's going on myself. So I like to actually take a look at it. And I just saw a question regarding the scooters. Not sure if you're all aware, but we just had, from working with the special operations, we have a kind of a scooter program in which now we have officers tasked to ride around, collect scooters. As a matter of fact, I think a few days ago was our first initial day of collecting scooters. We sent Officer Pat Trantoni She was able to recover, I believe, 9 scooters in one day. I drove around myself because, I had to get behind 1355 York Avenue, in which I saw like a thousand scooters. And I know these scooters are leaving, causing havoc throughout our 506 areas and our neighboring areas. But by the time she got back there, waiting for the tow truck, they ran and got their scooters and took off. However, she was still able to recover 9. So we do have a scooter initiative. Hopefully we can, and it's just not 5D, it's basically all districts in the city. So we're going to do our best to recover as many scooters. And if we catch someone in violation, they will be arrested for any violation and we'll take the scooter. So we do have that initiative up and running now.
Okay, 5D08, any questions? 5D09?
Yes, good evening. I'm Commissioner Bernice Black now. I have some concerns about some certain areas. One of them is 17th and 19th and Benning Road. There was a shooting there on the 6th. On the 4th. There was another shooting on the 8th at 17th Street, which a person died. And in my SMD 5D09 on Sunday on 24th Street, there were, I was informed, 3 shootings and a child got killed. Is there any updates on any of these shootings?
Okay, so in reference to the 2 homicides, the violent crime branches, they're still in the process of investigating these cases. In reference to the 3 that were shot in front of Sylvia's Liquor, 5D detectives are still investigating. So once they're able to grab some leads and give us some information, whether or not there are warrants issues, I'll definitely grab that information and let y'all, come back, circle back with y'all and let you know that there have been progress. But as of now, these cases are still being investigated as we speak.
Okay, yes, I would like to have really an update on the one on 24th Street because that's in my SMD.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having some issues on my end. So we have one question, Lieutenant Commodore, before you go. Moya Wilson asked at the last meeting for ANC 5D when the police camera on Bennett Place and 19th would be activated. It seems like it's still not connected. Can we get an idea when the police camera will be connected? I know I'm sorry, not Captain, Commander Altieri said sometimes those cameras don't look like they're active, but I can't confirm if that's the situation in this case. Is there any way to get confirmation that the camera at Bennett and 19th is currently working?
Okay. Is this Commissioner Sacida Guzman?
Yes.
Okay. I will get that information for you. Unfortunately, that's PSA 507, but it doesn't
Got it.
matter. I can still get that information for you. Just to let you all know, Captain Monahan will be out of the office until the 24th, I believe, of June. And I will be acting captain in her place. So that covers Sector 3, which is PSA 506 and 507. So I will certainly do a deep dive and get that and circle back with you with that information.
Okay, sounds good. And then a final question from the public. I don't think it was one of these that Commissioner Blacknell was referencing, but what is the status of the murder that occurred on Friday at the 1700 block of Benning Road?
I'm sorry. Okay, I thought I just answered that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So that question was up there, but when Commissioner Blacknell made mention of it, I did give that status. It's still being investigated by the homicide branch.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Are there any other questions from the public? If not, we'll move forward with commissioners' reports. Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward. Lieutenant Commodore, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you all. You have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
We'll go ahead and commence commissioners' reports. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect because I'm having issues on my end. So we'll start with commissioners' reports, starting with Commissioner Arbuckle 5D01.
Ready? I wanted to let everyone know that I will be having a meet and greet SMD meeting this Saturday at 1 p.m. And we'll be meeting in front of the ANC space at 371 Morse Street. And that's right next to Dry, behind the Edison, if you know where that is. And so yeah, please let me know if you can send me an email or send a text in the chat if you'll need any translation assistance. But yeah, if you live, work, or do business in 5D01 in Union Market or in Gallaudet University, you're welcome to come. That's all for me. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, of course.
Yeah, I guess I'm next.
Yeah.
We are going to be having helping us people into living. They're going to be doing several events at Lewis Crow Park. They're going to have a food and a DJ, mobile hair service, and be doing sexual health screenings. They will be connecting with the DC Housing Authority Police in order to have these events. The violence interrupters through Father Factor and NARC, they were supposed to be having an event, but they need to work with the DC Housing Authority Police so they can reschedule their event. On the 29th, we will be having an art workshop called A Cool Abbey City. The youth in the community did some artwork, and we have a permit for Cromel, and it'll be between 10 and 6, but we're going to have a plan B in case it's too hot or if it rains. We will make sure that that information is in the calendar. Also, July 31st, we will be hosting the Environmental Justice Youth Summit at Anacostia High School, and that will be led by a lot of the youth programs and summer youth employment programs all over the city. And that information will be in the calendar as well once we finalize all of the times and dates. And that's it for me.
Okay, 5D03.
Hi, I'm Anna Roblin. Zachary Parker will be speaking at our next Trinidad community meeting, which will be Monday, July 1st at our 5D office, 371 Morse Street in Union Market, right around the corner from Trader Joe's. It'll start at 6 p.m., go till about 8 p.m. Commissioner Sauceda Guzman and me have arranged this as, one of our Trinidad community meetings, and we really hope that everyone can make it. Please come. So I have some signs that say "Don't litter." They can be placed only on private property, which is front and rear yards, but not on public space. But they can be placed in your front and or rear yards or fences so that they can be seen by passerbys or vehicles driving on the streets or in alleys. Please let me know if you would like any. They're free. I get them free, and you can get them free from DPW. But I have them at my house, and I can get them to you. I'll put my information in the chat. There are also no illegal dumping signs that say no illegal dumping, but those can be placed in public space like alleys, but they must be installed either by DPW or DDOT. You can request one through me, or you can just call DPW or DDOT yourself to request one for an alley or any other public space. We could use some volunteers to do flyering. We have 2 flyers I'd like to put out, and actually one of them we've been working on since pretty much the beginning of the commission, and I've been really slow. But these are the first one is to make everyone aware of 5D in our commission and how we help people. It has a QR code. A lot of people are not aware that ANCs exist, and they don't know what we do, so they're missing out on a lot of help. And like Commissioner Henderson always says, this will get the word out across the commission. So we would love to flyer everyone, but we could use more hands helping us out. Another flyer is to advertise our trash and beautification committee cleanups, which we have twice a month, and the other activities of the trash and beautification committee, which is we lend out tools that you can use to do your cleanups. We have trash pickers, we have garbage bags, we have brooms, that's rakes. If anyone is interested in beginning a community garden at Trinidad Rec Center, we're working on starting that. We're pretty sure we're going to be able to do it. So please let me know. Also, if you're interested in doing that, I think it would be an amazing opportunity to have a community garden there. And I'll put my information in the chat. Also, I'm going to start having SMD meetings. I've been one of the ones with Commissioner Saucedo Guzman of organizing the Trinidad community meetings, but those have been presentations of government agencies and MPD. But now I want to start one just for my SMD, just for people in my SMD to talk about inner SMD issues. So I'm planning to do that, and please let me know if you're interested in joining us, if you're in my SMD 5D03. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll go next, and I'll keep it short. I got an update from DDOT that they will be doing sidewalk improvements on Trinidad Avenue between Queen Street and Childress up by the rec center. So if you live there, please pay attention to the emergency no parking signs. I know that Trinidad Avenue badly needs to be repaved, and we need better sidewalks, and this is all going to be part of that. So that's all.
Looks like Commissioner Saucedo Guzman disconnected, so I think we're on to Commissioner Henderson.
Good evening, Kathy Henderson, 5D06. Good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to report that we had a successful single-member district meeting. I've had numerous meetings with businesses in our community. We are moving forward with getting MPD to provide a reimbursable detail, which is a benefit to everyone. We also had a successful boat ride to tour the Anacostia, and I'm really happy to increase awareness about the cleaning the Anacostia because it is a natural resource that benefits all of us. I see a couple of my constituents on this call tonight, certainly I will extend the opportunity again to you. I want everyone that I represent, I want everyone to take the ride, but I'm certainly prioritizing my constituents. There is a meeting on the Benning Service Center. Pepco's, there's a consent decree with Pepco cleaning up the Anacostia, and there is a long process, lots of reports, and the community deserves an opportunity to hear what has been done, what's being done, and just the total scope of that work. That meeting will be held at the Department of Employment Services on Minnesota and Minnesota Avenue, 4058 Minnesota Avenue Northeast on June 22nd from 10 to 1 p.m. And food will be provided. Breakfast and lunch will be provided. So we need your participation and your comments. I also see that our new representative from CSOSA is here. I've been having community cleanups every Saturday from 9 to 1. They are successful. We look forward to more people participating, and we look forward to the illegal dumping stopping. We are seeing deliberate illegal dumping. As I said before, our neighbors have sent me photos. I have photos and videos of these individuals doing the illegal dumping. And there is an investigation ongoing that I will not be able to provide more details with at this time. And certainly if you need to reach me, 202-556-5823. And also many of the community opposes the so-called road diet that DDOT is working on. This process has not been properly communicated to the community. It appears to be clandestine. A number of people who are working on this process have since moved out of the community. And it really, people are upset that there's just a lack of transparency and a lack of consideration for what we want in our safety. So many people have signed the petition. I submitted comments. The record closes today. We've submitted comments, and we're going to continue to get signatures from community members. And I'm really proud of the community. We have a long process of participation in this community, and we want to continue to build on that. And also, one last thing, our voting precinct was moved without proper notice. I know that that Board of Elections sent out the books, but it was up to us to figure out if we no longer are voting at Trinidad Recreation Center, which was really improper. And we were moved over to Joseph Cole, Neal Street, in a little tiny room. The staff was friendly, but the space was inadequate. And a lot of people just simply didn't know that our voting precinct had moved. So I'll be reaching out to the Board of Elections to add this to a number of anomalies. And it's important that the Board of Elections gets it right, especially since we have an election coming up. And finally, I can't wait for the DC auditor to perform the audit next month on this commission so that we can put to rest the malfeasance and the alleged misappropriation of the $85,000 from this commission. So thank you. And if anyone has any questions, certainly feel free to call me at any time.
Okay, 5D07 is not available, but I'll speak as 5D05. Can you hear me? Okay. So 5D05 is Northern Trinidad. We've been having a lot of stuff going on the last couple of weeks, particularly with some issues with DDOT construction going on Mount Olivet and other parts of 5D05. Residents on this call that live in Northern Trinidad or even in any part of 5D, Fort Myers Construction Company has a habit of doing work without the proper permits in place. Today we had a very big example of when Fort Myers was doing work on a site where they didn't have permit legibility until tomorrow. And we had to get DDOT to come out and issue a fine to Fort Myers. So we're seeing that on a more regular basis than what we used to. So if there's any residents out there that happen to see any construction going on without proper permits being displayed, please address it to your commissioner and even myself. We're following up to see why Fort Myers is making this a habit. In terms of the road work on Mount Olivet, myself and Commissioner Rhodes met today with DC Water, Fort Myers, and the council member's office to discuss some of the issues that we've been having there. So look forward to some updated improvements in terms of some of the safety protocols being put in place there. We know that this summer they will be doing continuous work on the road as they install bike lanes on Mount Olivet Road. In terms of public safety, the 5D CAC has their monthly public safety meeting this month at the 5th District on the 27th at 7 p.m. Please join us if you care about public safety. We always have the commander join us as well as different representatives from different agencies come out. We will be holding this one before our July break, so feel free to come out. I see some members of the 5D CAC on tonight's call, so looking forward to seeing some of those faces at the end of the month. As I addressed with Lieutenant Commodore, our current major concerns with crime and illegal activity is currently on Miggs Place and Sims Place. Luckily, it's nothing as I guess as bad as what we were seeing specifically on ROM. But once that was taken care of, now it's time to address the other concerns. So if you are seeing any activity there that you think is abnormal, please reach out to me to address it with the lieutenant and the sergeant. Sergeant Taylor has been very helpful with getting folks out here to immediately look into some of these concerns, and we'll continue to do that. My last big announcement before I pass it off to 5D08, Trinidad Day is August 24th, Saturday, August 24th this year. That's the Saturday before school starts. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the groups that we've been putting together to hold this day. A lot of different organizations and entities alongside of many of our elders in the Trinidad community are going to be assisting in Trinidad Day. And I'm very happy that I'm able to assist and bring this wonderful festival back to the neighborhood. Our first year was a great success, and I'm looking forward to making this even better this summer. So if you want to participate or feel free or interested in donating your time, talent, or treasure to Trinidad Day, please reach out to me directly, and we can definitely work on that collaboration. Okay, 5D08.
Hi, everyone. Reed May, 5D08. It's good to see all of you. Thanks to members of the public for being here. I have a couple of quick updates. The first one is related to some planned road construction. I'm sure folks are familiar with the 17th Street and Mount Olivet Multimodal Corridor Safety Project. We're going to talk a little bit more about 17th Street later on, so I won't get too much into that now. But I will note that construction has actually begun on Mount Olivet Road as of last week. So if you've been up there, you've probably seen some of the cement work going in. DDOT and their contractors have installed a bus bulb out between Corcoran and Capitol Street Northeast. And then they've also, just as of the last couple of days, begun to install the pedestrian refuges that will be in the middle of Mount Olivet at Montello Avenue. So that's been great to see that progress beginning. My conversations with them suggest that that Mount Olivet will probably that segment of the project will probably be constructed by the end of this month, by the end of June. So we should see that continue to progress in the next couple of weeks, and then 17th Street will flow from there. And again, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So excited about both of those phases of this project, which is long overdue and exciting for the community. And then the second thing I wanted to mention is that some of you may remember last year during the budget cycle, we successfully secured about $400,000 in capital funds for the Department of Parks and Recreation to explore a park space in Carver Langston. That project is finally moving a little bit, and DPR is planning a walk and talk this Thursday, so 2 days from now. That's the 13th. That's the corner of 19th and L Street is the proposed space for that. There's a slice of district-owned land there that doesn't have anything on it. So anyone is invited to come out. And I don't know exactly what programming DPR has planned, but they're looking for community engagement and to talk about different ideas for the space. So I certainly hope to see people there. That is it for me. And I will, looks like Commissioner Saucedo Guzman dropped off again, so I'll kick it to Commissioner Black now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bernice Blacknell, ANC Commissioner for 5D09. I just like to invite everyone to Langston Day, which is August the 17th. It is from 11 to 5 p.m. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner, about that. Sorry, I had to join via a different computer. I was having issues with my other one. Okay, with that being said, I think that was all the commissioners that provided commissioner reports. We'll go ahead and move forward with the mayor's office and the council member's office. Is Mr. Black available here? Don't see them, but I do see Mr. Stout. I have two Oliver Stouts here. Is that correct, commissioners? Can you promote them to panelists, Commissioner May? It's not allowing me right now for some reason. Commissioner May, can you promote Oliver Stout to panelist?
I can, yeah.
I don't have that host capability, so I can't do it.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll promote one of them and see what happens. Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, everyone can hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right. So we just have a couple of updates for this week. First would be the South Dakota Avenue safety study. Also healthy communities and spring cleaning update, and then WMATA's Better Bus Network redesign. That's open for public comment. And then just a little bit in regards to the first budget vote and the second budget vote that will be tomorrow. So as far as South Dakota Avenue safety study that was launched, many neighbors had interacted with the office and the council member as we worked for needed improvements along South Dakota Avenue corridor, including through our traffic safety walk, South Dakota Avenue safety survey, and oversight as a council member secured and followed up on dedicated funding for these improvements. Also, DDOT is now moving forward with the safety study of the South Dakota Avenue, but no decisions have been made yet, and this is just the beginning stages and process of community engagement. So there was a meeting that was on Thursday, May 30th, and then there was another in-person meeting that was Saturday, June 1st, to kick off the safety study. DDOT will continue to accept feedback for this round of engagement through the end of June. So everyone still has time for public comment. When I'm done here, I'll drop some of the links there where you guys can engage with the questionnaire and public comment. As far as the safety, the South Dakota safety study launch, Councilmember Parker, we put it in our weekly newsletter, and we also have the slides for both of those for the meeting, the DDOT presentation recording that's on there. So I'll drop the link there so you guys can revert to that as well. Also, as far as like healthy communities, a couple of weeks ago, we did a cleaning event in the Woodridge area. We held that was on Walnut and Vista Street. The next two that we will be doing will be in Michigan Park on June 22nd and Fort Lincoln on July 13th. I know that if any of the commissioners would like to do another one before that, you could always reach out to me and we could try to make something happen. As far as the WMATA's Better Bus Network redesign, Metro unveiled their proposed 2025 Better Bus Network. As you all can probably recall, the Ward 5 Bus Network Task Force, which was developed to provide WMATA with feedback. So you guys can also take a look at the scoreboard to send your feedback. They also will be accepting public comment and recommendations until until July 15th. Also for WMATA's Better Bus Network redesign overall, we are excited to see that Ward 5, we had a number of Ward 5 wins, including much that improved safety across for Fort Lincoln neighbors, also maintaining the important service for the Trinidad community, as well as the service downtown along Rhode Island and improving downtown transfer. As far as the budget vote, which was Wednesday, the first budget vote, which was Wednesday, May 29th, the council took the first vote for the FY25 budget, and there were many Ward 5 budget wins. I could list a few of them. One was the 200,000 in one-time funds for planning study for Rhode Island corridor. Also, there was 100,000 in one-time funds for the Ward 5 business incubator study. Of course, the 300,000 additional funds for the South Dakota Avenue safety improvement. which added to the 1 million secured in FY24. Also, we had the 500,000 in one-time funds to repair Wheatley Education Campus roof and insulate the internal HVAC system at Luke Seymour. And then there was a number of other things, additional 100,000 for recreation centers and 400,000 for the behavior, health, and substance abuse targeted outreach services at locations within Ward 5 and Ward 6. So that's pretty much all of the updates that I have for today. Also, just to flag, there was issues with the street sweeping in the alley on Bennett Place. If you guys are having any trouble or any issues when you put in a 311 request, the constituent said that they put in a 311 request and then they closed it without any action, or they said that they were done and everything was serviced. If you guys are having any troubles with your 311 request, of course, we want you to utilize 311. But if you're seeing that you're getting no progress there, you could always flag it to the office. What had happened today, well, yesterday when it was brought to our attention, we got on DPW and they were able to go and fix the issue right away. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them.
Thank you, Mr. Stout.
Yes.
Friendly reminder for the public to drop any questions you have in the Q&A. If you are one of our seniors, you can use the raise your hand function and we'll let you ask the council member's office a question directly. And we'll start with ANC commissioners. I think Commissioner Henderson had her hand raised first.
Yes, Mr. Stout, in the beginning of Mr. Parker's term, a number 14 of my, well, not 14 of my neighbors, well, actually 14 of my neighbors, some of which are my constituents and some are just some are neighbors. We met regarding that district-owned land at 19th and L, and it was made clear then, and we're going to make it clear now. We don't want anything that's going to attract people to sit there and to drink, drug, and cause a disturbance. I asked the council member to look for $5,000 to put a fence on the property. The community has agreed to having either a playground there or a community garden, and that's what we want. We've had movie nights there. So I'm not understanding why there's this continued effort, to put programming there that we don't want. There was no notification. You didn't reach out to me. I live on that block, which is absurd that you would reach out to me. So this is unacceptable. So I'd like to know, Mr. Stout, is the council member going to be there? Is he going to, are we going to revisit this issue? Do I have to reach out to Ms. Denny Freeman again to tell her what we want? Did you say something?
I'm not understanding what are you speaking of when it comes to programming? What programming is there? As from right now, it's in the beginning stages, and their DPW will be holding an engagement with the community to find out
what time is that engagement, and I need the information.
I think that information Commissioner May already dropped and shared, Commissioner. Yeah. Not listening?
It's not there. What time is it?
It's in the chat. You can pull it up.
It's not in the chat.
You can go ahead and pull it up.
I'm happy to share it verbally as well. Again, it's at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday night.
Yeah, we'll be there again to tell you what we don't want and what we do want. And
we
look forward to listening to everyone in the community.
And that's why you're invited, Commissioner.
Yeah, I want to respond to that. This use of the royal we as though you represent a secret majority is completely nonsensical. If you had 14 people there are many more who are excited about your comments are inappropriate.
I think you have a bigger issue, which is that your community doesn't support you. So just
Commissioner Henderson, that plot of land is in my single member district.
They don't support you.
Asked me to advocate for.
They don't support you. You and your clandestine.
Commissioner Henderson, please let them speak. Please let them speak. You don't like to be interrupted.
You just said in your remarks
they don't support
you wanted a plot of land.
They don't support you.
to have a fence on it, and that your group would support a playground. That's
They
exactly
don't
what
support you.
these residents are asking
Excuse me,
for.
excuse me, excuse me. I will act as parliamentary. Please, please, Commissioner Henderson. You don't want nobody to interrupt you, so don't interrupt the other
You're out of
ANC
order.
commissioner.
You're out of order.
Commissioner Henderson, you're out of order. You need to stop interrupting people if you want to follow your own
You
rules
interrupt
and be
all the time.
respected.
You interrupt all the time.
More than anyone else, Commissioner. You like wasting more time
I
than
don't
anyone
think
else
so.
in this
And your
commission.
constituents don't support you either.
Oh, you're the one that calls me a Mexican that's not even ANC commissioner in my own neighborhood. Yeah, go ahead. Like I believe you. Commissioner,
That's just so
Commissioner
false.
May,
And
can you
just,
continue
it's
with your
ridiculous.
comment?
Just stop.
Yeah, I'll just conclude my comment by just saying, for the benefit of Mr. Stout, that this meeting was set up by the Department of Parks and Recreation, which has funding for this project. It was not set up by the council member's office. So it was not, I had no expectation, Mr. Stout, that your office would provide notification or anything like that.
Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner May. Any other questions for the
So the council member is going to pander to the mayor.
Any other questions for the council member's office? I don't see any in the chat. I mean, not the chat, the Q&A. No. Okay. Mr. Stout, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you so much for trying to connect us with resources over here in Trinidad for Trinidad Day. I recognize you're a big resource out here in Ward 5, and you've been doing really good at bringing some potential actors into Trinidad Day. So I'm going to keep harping Trinidad Day until we meet in August. But I very, 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 very support your office in terms of what you guys try to do out here in South Ward 5, because we don't got it easy compared to the rest of the ward. But we do recognize your efforts and do always see you on the ground when we need you.
Appreciate that.
No problem. Mr. Black, are you there, sir? Yes, we're being blessed with your presence today. I know the mayor's office has been pretty busy. Well, they're always busy, but it's Pride season, so you guys are a little more busier than usual. But thank you for joining us tonight, and share with us what's going on with the mayor's office and what the Mokers are up to.
Absolutely. Commissioner, if you can possibly make, or if someone can possibly make Curtis Eskridge a panelist this evening.
I got it.
Thanks.
First and foremost, I would like to start off by saying good evening, ANC 5D. My name is Anthony Black. I'm the Ward 5 liaison for the mayor's office. First things first, I would like to introduce our new Ward 5 liaison, Mr. Curtis Eskridge. Curtis is here as a Howard graduate. He's also a Ward 5 resident. Curtis lives in Union Market, actually 5D. So I would just like to welcome Curtis. I've been promoted to ward manager by the mayor. So Curtis will definitely be a good point of contact for ANC 5D. I will also continue to be a contact for ANC 5D as well, but I will just be taking more of a managerial role. Curtis, you have a few things that you want to say to residents and the commissioners?
Hello, all the commissioners. Appreciate it for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I will be putting my information in the chat if you guys have any other questions or want to get in contact with me by any means, or have any concerns that you want to run by me. And thanks for having me.
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Go ahead, Mr. Black. This is your time.
Just a couple updates. The Giant Barbecue Battle will be June 22nd and 23rd. That will be held on Pennsylvania Avenue from 3rd Street to 7th Street Northwest. I still do have a few tickets, so please reach out to me for those tickets. I also have a few to drop off as well. I did receive a couple emails, so I will be dropping those tickets off as well soon. Also, DPW is holding their leaf season FY25 information sessions. They will be held the week of the 17th. The Ward 5 location will be Turkey Thicket Recreation Center. And those sessions will be from 9. They will have daily sessions starting at 9, 11, 1, and 3. So please feel free to register for that. Again, our award days are Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those are just days in which we're in the wards addressing issues and concerns. Recently, we spent some time with Commissioner Rhodes, really knocking out some things over there in Ivy City. I encourage all commissioners, as well as residents, to schedule some time to get out with us to address those issues and concerns. That's all I have on my end. I'm open for questions.
Perfect. I'll open up the questions again to the public. We have a Q&A feature to drop there. If you are a senior citizen, feel free to use the raise your hand function. Inspector Brooks, if you want to click the raise your hand function to confirm if you're able to speak on some of what Mr. Black shared, we can actually promote you to panelist. In the meantime, Mr. Black, I wanted to address just one quick follow-up from our walk that we had at the Trinidad Rec Center, I want to say 6 weeks ago or so. We did get the zip line fixed. So hooray, hooray, a win is a win. I mean, if you're an ANC commissioner, you know anything is a win is a win. So we did get the zip line fixed at the Trinidad Rec Center. So the kids are using it now. We're just trying to get the heavier, older kids to not use it and break it. But we did have one thing to follow up on that we didn't get DGS to work on, and I think they were expecting a 311 request, but this is something I don't know how to actually input. It was the excessive amount of rocks and stones in the toddler playground. We still haven't gotten that cleaned up. I personally don't mind going over there with a broom and fixing it myself, but it was something that DGS promised to fix, and it's been over 6 weeks, maybe even 9 now. So I don't know if we can follow up and try to figure out how to submit a 311 request so DGS can properly follow up on that. I did reach out to the DGS representative for Ward 5, and she was requesting that information. So if you can help us with that, I would really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll definitely flag Chalice first thing tomorrow.
Perfect. Commissioner May, can you make me a co-host so I can elevate Inspector Brooks Garrett? Commissioner Henderson, you had your hand raised while we're getting Inspector on the panelist side.
Yes, Mr. Black, I requested the last time you spoke some barbecue tickets, and I have not received them. My constituents and I want to attend this event, and we're waiting for the tickets. Two, I've reached out to Director Freeman, Tommy Jones, and Chris Dyer regarding our movie nights, and they've not responded as appropriate. So do I need to go to the mayor directly to address these concerns, or are you empowered to address the concerns?
Commissioner Henderson, this is the first time I'm hearing of that concern, but I can definitely address that concern. I can definitely connect you with DPR, and I will do that.
Oh, I don't need you to connect me with them. I need you to facilitate their appropriate response. So yes, this is the first time you're hearing about that issue, but the barbecue battle tickets, it was a nice event. Members of my community enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think it's nice. We want tickets. Where are they?
You'll definitely get them this week, Commissioner.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Black, do you know if Tommy Jones is still out of office? Or
no, he's back in office.
Okay, thanks for confirming that.
He was back in office starting last week.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. Inspector, I'm trying to promote you to panelist. If you want to click join as okay, I think we got you. Are there any other questions from the commissioners before we let Inspector Brooks Garrett from DPW speak briefly on some of what the mayor's office discussed? I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Okay, Inspector Brooks Garrett, are you there? If you can unmute yourself. Are you there, Inspector? If not, we might have to move on. There you go. For members of the public, this is Inspector Brooks Garrett. She is literally on the front lines of a lot of the concerns that we address to the public through DPW, from illegal dumping to anything street related when it comes to the work that DPW does. They might not directly work in one of the fields such as street sweeping or alley cleaning, but they're a major resource that can connect you with the right people in DPW. So I definitely want to allow them to speak so you can put a face to the name of knowing who literally is coming on the block to see what illegal dumping we're addressing or other small concerns that DPW needs to handle. Inspector Brooks, did you find the unmute button? I can make it easy just by asking you to mute. Are you there, Inspector? Are you speaking, Inspector? I can't tell. We'll come back to you if you're able to connect to your audio, Inspector. I don't think we have any other questions for the mayor's office. With that being said, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. And Mr. Eskridge, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Commissioner May, I need to pull up the agenda. I don't have it on front of me right now. Or Commissioner Roblin as our secretary. Can you tell us what the next item on the agenda is?
Yeah, I have it. The next item would be the Ivy City Small Area Plan.
Perfect.
And I think
can we
that's
have-
Alex Friedman who just raised their hand. I'll promote.
Hello.
Hi, Alex.
Thank you everyone for allowing me to take a minute to speak. My name is Alex Friedman. I am a community planner with the DC Office of Planning, and I'm also the project manager for the Ivy City Small Area Plan. And I wanted to take just a couple minutes to join the commission this evening to give a couple updates on the project and where it's heading over the next couple months, especially since I know that the commission is taking some time off in July. For which I'm very envious. But am I able to share my screen? Yes. So I'm going to pull up just a couple slides real quick to help provide a visual. All right. Does that show up properly?
I see it.
Great. So again, thank you to Commissioner Rhodes who helped facilitate this and everyone else for letting me join for a minute. Just as a quick summary overview for folks who may be tuning in for the first time, the Ivy City Small Area Plan is a neighborhood scale long-range plan, and it's setting out some recommendations that are rooted in three primary buckets: public space and design, housing, affordability and opportunities, and community resilience. And all of these buckets of recommendations we're funneling through a lens of racial equity and health equity to make sure that all of these are working to advance equitable outcomes for the Ivy City community. So right now, we are somewhere in between the May and July items on this timeline. In May, we had a really wonderful open house at Trinity Baptist Church where we shared first drafts of the recommendations that are being proposed in the plan. We had a nice turnout from residents and got a lot of good feedback, and those have been funneling into updates to some of those recommendations and expansion on others. So our team is working hard to develop the draft plan right now. And the big milestones coming up are that we are anticipating on July 1st that we will be releasing a draft full version of the Ivy City Small Area Plan for a formal public comment period. This is required of us by the legislative process, and it will be open for 45 days. So it'll extend through July and into August, closing formally on August 16th. In the interim, we will be holding some community office hours in Ivy City. Currently, we are looking at July 15th, 16th, and 17th, and we're hoping to set up at different locations around the community outside to try and reach people in different ways than we have in the past set of community office hours that we've held. Those locations and times will be shared with the commissioner and with our email list that we have for the project. And we'll also flyer the neighborhood as well. Then importantly, we have a mayoral hearing that is scheduled right now. It was scheduled in July. We just bumped it back to August 3rd. And that is an important public milestone for input where we will have a transcriptionist and all the comments shared during that, in addition to the comments collected during the public hearing, those will be formally put on the record verbatim from how they are shared. So again, we'll share more information once we have a time and a location specifically set up for that. But I wanted to flag those now, knowing that there may not be another meeting time to share that. And then if all goes according to plan, after the wrap up of the public comment period on August 16th, we will take all the comments that we hear from the public and other agencies and consolidate those into a final draft that we will then share in September with the district council. So for anyone who wants more information about the project, please feel free to check out our project website, publicinput.com/IvyCity, IvyCity SAP, or email us, ivycitysap@dc.gov, or you can give me a ring, 202-442-7618. So thank you all so much for letting me speak, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Friedman. Friendly reminder again, we have a Q&A for the folks that want to drop questions in there. And if you are one of our seniors, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll allow you to speak. Since this is in Commissioner Rhodes' single member district, I'll allow them the opportunity to ask any questions first before we ask any of the other commissioners.
Well, and thank you so much, Commissioner Salcedo Guzman. And thank you, Alex, for your presentation. I'm very much engaged and know what's going on. I just look forward to the ending product.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Henderson, you had a question?
A quick question. What time is the meeting on August 3rd? And please confirm the location.
So we are currently finalizing those details right now. We are aiming for 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the morning on Saturday the 3rd, likely at Trinity Baptist Church. But once we confirm that information, we will send out flyers and notifications about it. In addition to, we will also be sharing a formal public register notice that will be going out through other formats.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions from the public or the commissioners? No? Okay, well, Mr. Freeman, thank you so much for joining us tonight and providing this update. We look forward to joining those further discussions, and we'll be patiently waiting on this project.
My pleasure, thank you.
Thank you. Inspector, are you able to speak now? No, it's not. If you go to the corner and click on, I'm sorry, if you click on the corner and click on audio and the little arrow, you might be able to connect via your phone instead to join the meeting, or select one of your speakers on there if you're having one of those issues. Or if you want, you can call me right now and I can just speaker you in to the meeting. It says you're connecting to audio now, so maybe you might connect. Can you speak? No, not yet, Inspector. If you call me, I'll be able to use a speakerphone to get your audio in. Oh, okay. Do you need my number, Inspector? Oh, sorry. I thought you were about to call me. 202-826-7807. And here we go. Can you hear me, Inspector? Go ahead.
Not too close. Sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry about that. I guess we can go back to Bennett Place.
If you want to put the phone close to you so they can hear you properly, because it's going through mine as well. You were addressing concerns on Bennett Place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did get an email in reference to Bennett Place, and I was aware of the cleanup, and they did clean it up, but I have to revisit that area. And because of safety reasons, I need assistance, and today was collection day. So I will be going back there tomorrow morning. I have one of the crew members, supervisors, going to meet me there because there's a problem with the containers being left out. And my supervisor, Sonia Street, and myself, we did this last year and got it a bit under control, but now they're back leaving the cans out. So, but in order for me to issue those fines, they have to be identified. So it's a process. So I have to go in there tomorrow morning, get the numbers off the can, the serial numbers, go to Traxter, find out who they belong to. And if in fact they don't belong to anyone, I'm going to have them removed immediately. But I have to go through the process because we can't just go in and take the can. And then also notice the violations will be issued because they've already been educated. Notice the violations were issued in the past, so it's no more warnings, no more education because they know they have to bring the cans in.
Okay.
But sometimes it'll take a little longer because some alleys I just cannot go in by myself. And that alley is, as you know, is a dead end alley. I have to pull in and back all the way out of it. And it's in between Bennett Place and Bennett Road, and it kind of hang right there on that when the alley goes out to Bennett Road. So for safety issues, it's going to take me a couple of days to get it done, but it will be taken care of.
Okay, perfect.
And the other thing about the illegal dumping, I didn't hear anyone bring up 2229 M Street Northwest. I'm sorry, Northeast Maryland Avenue. The end.
Yeah.
We need help. We need help really bad. We have environmental crimes on it. With MPD also has an environmental crimes unit. I've met with them along with our environmental crimes unit, trying to get this man off the streets. Because what he's doing, he's hired to pick up salt, what have you, and he dumps it. He is the one who's dumping at the bottom of that hill. And he has 2 RVs that's been there. Abandoned Autos is working on trying to get them towed, but the tags are legitimate. They're Virginia tags and they're current. He has someone who's helping him, but we need all the help we can get this man off the street. I was reassigned to Ward 5 almost 2 years now, and he's been there in that same spot.
Inspector, since we know who the bad actor is, why can't we move forward with anything?
Law. So MPD is involved, DPW is involved, ANC commissioner is involved. They've been trying to get help with this man for years, and they just cannot get him off the street. He comes back. The homeless advocates have been there to try to get him in. He doesn't want to go in. he wants to live in the RV. And there was one RV that allegedly prostitution was being run out of that one, and they set that one on fire. DPW had to come and move that. I mean, I am constantly putting service requests in for the trash and stuff to be removed because we can't leave it there. But he is the person who's actually dumping all this stuff.
Understood. Commissioner Blacknell, you had your hand raised. Commissioner Blacknell, I would like to make a suggestion that maybe we as ANC commissioners hold a meeting with the council member's office and the inspector to kind of see what's going on in this situation and see how we can proceed. Do you think that's a good idea?
Commissioner Salvador, Oliver has been out there with me. This man, I hate to say it, as they call it, he's milking the system. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Commissioner Brooks, you are so right. It's been 2.5 years. I've been the ANC commissioner since 2010. This man, he's milking the system. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He has mental issues. It's a lot going on with him. And then he has other people there with him. So I don't know how we're going to get this man help. He says he wants help. I have talked to him. He knows who I am. I have made rounds down there near the Arboretum. I don't know what to do with this man, but he knows what he's doing. He leaves, he comes back. When he comes back, he comes back with more trucks. He comes back with more tires. And I asked him, why? Why are you doing this, sir? He says that if he's not down there, it's a lot of drug activities that will be going on and everything, but he's the one that's engaging in the drugs. Yeah, it's a prostitute. Yeah, he has prostitution going on there. He has dogs. He has a porta potty there. He had a dog house there. Mattresses out there. Yes, one of his, I call it his mini houses, did get was on fire. I don't know if somebody set it on fire or he did it or whoever was living in this, was cooking or something. But he knows what he's doing.
Commissioner Rose, did you have a comment or question?
Yes. Curtis came with me today. There are some dumpsters in the alley back behind the men's shelter and the alley that comes out to Fenwick Street. And those dumpsters are overfilled and grease has been coming out of one of the restaurants onto the alley. And so the whole alley is slick. And I know that could possibly be a DOEE situation, but is there some kind of way you can escalate it? Curtis sent 311 in, but something has to be done either tonight or in the morning, because that's a hazard. And it's been like that. Mr. Gooch at the men's shelter said it's been like that about a week. But again, there's grease coming from one of the restaurants back there, and there's a line of trash dumpsters that's overfilled.
Notice the violations were issued. I just issued them about a week or so ago. That's another alley that I have to have assistance with because Commissioner, they hang there. So the grease can actually belongs to the kitchen, and I issued fines. So one of the things that I do, if I can't speak with anyone, I try to see what I can get done without issuing a fine. But I had to issue a fine. It can't be ignored. I don't know exactly who all the dumpsters belong to because they don't have names on them. But the ones that belong to the kitchen, they have their address on them. So the fines were issued for the grease and for the dumpster. And what I'm hoping is that I will get in court. If I get in court, then that will help me. But I need your help. I need your help with that. Maybe we can set up some type of meeting with the restaurant owners there, but it's mainly the soup kitchen. Because those dumpsters, at least 3 of them belong to them and the grease container. And I had the environmental crimes unit to go back there with me as well, because they hang back there from the shelter. Everybody from the shelter, they hang in that alley right there. All day, probably all night when I'm off work. So the fines were issued, so I'm hoping that we'll get in court, because 9 times out of 10, they're gonna try to appeal it. But the pictures I had show that they actually belong to the soup kitchen. And the other issue I'm having there is 1850. I need everybody. Commissioner Rose, I appreciate everything that you're doing as far as 1850 Kendall Street is, but that's another location. I don't believe in just writing tickets, because sometimes writing tickets, if nothing happens behind it, and I need to find out who these people are that I'm writing these tickets to, because they're ignoring them. I'm up to like $4,000 in tickets now. And it's a mess today. I went there today. It's a mess today. I need the councilman's help. I need, your help, of course, all that you've been doing. I know what we discussed behind the scenes. But I need everybody to help me with this location, because they can't sell it. It's because of the liens on the property. So they can't sell it. I did talk to some folks who were trying to purchase it, but because of the liens, they can't purchase it. It's held up, with the OG's office, the OAH, and all of that. And for me to just keep writing tickets, it's not bringing a solution to it. So we got to find who these folks are, because they're just ignoring everything now. Down to my phone call.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And I think that's it. If anybody has anything else, let me know. Commissioner Rose, most commissioners know I do the best I can. I can't do it all. Being reassigned to Ward 5 has been challenging, but I can see a great difference since I've been there, with the help of the people in the community. Commissioner Guzman, I don't know what I would do without you. I was on Sims again. They're trying to get Sims Place to have the trash place back in the rear, since the liquor store moved the fence. So with your help me, and we can get the trash back to the rear.
Yes, ma'am.
I did talk to the collections managers and let them know that it's unacceptable how many times that trash has been missed, because that is the corner collection right there on that corner. And it was there today, which was collection day. So I'm going to see tomorrow if it's been collected, because I went past there late and it was still there, and that's unacceptable for me. So I will be back there in the morning as well to see if it's been collected, because they have a late crew that comes in from like 10 to 6. So they'll come for anything that was missed on the earlier route. So the crew that comes in from 6:30 a.m., they have a 10 to 6 crew that will come in on the back end to try to get this trash out.
Okay, thank you, Inspector, for joining us tonight, and we'll definitely follow up with some of the stuff that we discussed.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, I still didn't pull up the agenda. I apologize. Commissioner May or Commissioner Rodman, can you confirm what's next on the agenda? I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I got you. No worries. It's the BZA case at 828 21st Street Northeast. I did also want to note there was a comment in the chat from the folks at Minetta Tavern. One of the presenters has to leave at 9:15, so they were asking about being able to speak before then.
Okay, Commissioner Arbuckle, can you put a motion on the floor to allow them to speak first?
I'd like to move the letter of support from Minetta Tavern to ahead in the agenda so that it would be next to speak.
Okay, I second it. I'll second by Commissioner May. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. Can the folks from Minetta Tavern be elevated to a panelist, please? And as they prepare, we will ask our BZA cases to get ready to present. The first BZA case after this Minetta Tavern presentation is BZA case 21091. That's 828 21st Street Northeast. And BZA case 18987B. That's at a combination of 1124 Florida Avenue Northeast. So you all will be presenting next after this presentation. Commissioner, if we can elevate them as well, for those folks presenting on those BZA matters, please use the raise your hand function so we can raise you to panelists as well. For the folks from Minetta Tavern, if you can go ahead and start, we'll go ahead and be all ears.
Yeah, and Kim, if there's anyone else you need, please let me know who they are. Hope you're muted, Kim.
I thought you guys were still controlling that function. Hi, okay. My name is Kim Petty. I am the executive board member of the.
It sounds like your speaker might be covered.
I'm sorry, guys. So it's my fiance's birthday, and I had to get to where I was getting and it's been a long day. Baby graduations, all kind of things. So thank you for being patient with me. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Kim Preddy, and I am an executive board member for the DC ICC chapter. I am also the permitting liaison, or commonly known as an expediter, for Minetta Tavern, which has been an ongoing project. Recently, we presented in front of you guys for permission to put our awning onto the building per directives of DDOT. The reason we are presenting to the ANC today is because per DDOT regulation, all proposed sidewalk cafes must be reviewed by the Public Space Committee. And the Public Space Committee strongly suggests that we get approval through the ANC. However, we have been operating under directives from DDOT in regards to this project because it is kind of unprecedented. It is part of the Morse Street rehabilitation project that is going on between Edens and the district. So just for a little back history, because some of the commissioners had questions about this earlier, with our sidewalk cafe being in the alley. So DC is changing, as we all know, and it's changing for the better. It's becoming a much more beautiful and pedestrian, people, citizen-friendly place. And in that corridor along Moore Street, they are getting ready to do a rehab where that alley, because it is extra wide, most service alleyways in the district are only 20 feet. This one is 25 feet. So we had an extra 5 feet from where the building face is in the rear, in the alley, where our sidewalk cafe will not be inhibiting the service of the alley itself. We have already obtained approvals from fire and safety. They are on board with not just the awning, but the sidewalk cafe, because none of those things would be permanent fixtures in public space. So in case of emergency, if anything ever needed to happen, those tables and chairs can be removed, the barriers will be removed, and the awning is retractable, so it would be rolled in and it would no longer be an obstruction in any way, shape, or form. It already is not an obstruction in any way, shape, or form, because with our 5 feet from our building face, the alley is still 20 feet wide. So as part of our awning approval, we were getting some pushback from some of the DDOT reviewers. We have approvals from everybody except one person in DDOT. So at that point, I was directed by our projects technician, Keisha Allen, and by management from Tiffany Timbra and from Mr. Courtney Williams, both managers over at DDOT, to obtain a design concept review for our sidewalk cafe. And that's why we're here today. Because when we are ready to do the full sidewalk cafe, but that cannot take place until the construction and the rehabilitation to the neighborhood has taken place. And we have yet to receive a exact date on when that would take place. And of course, public space rentals are not free. So we can't occupy the space and we shouldn't begin to pay for it until that construction has been completed. But in the meantime, they want us to do a design concept review in order to go with the awning to get approval for the awning. And then when we are ready for the full sidewalk cafe, we will come back to present in front of you guys if you need it. Because with the design concept review, your letter of approval now could save us having to come back and do this again when we are ready to actually install the cafe. So that's it for me.
Okay. Commissioner Arbuckle, did you want to comment or discuss since this is in your single member district?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, dear.
I was saying, Commissioner Arbuckle, did they want to comment or discuss on what Ms. Preddy has shared?
I wanted to ask about, can you talk a little bit about the process wherein Edens and DDOT decided to decided to activate the alley in this way?
I personally do not have much information regarding that, but I do believe that the Minetta ownership team is on this call and they may be able to better answer that. I know when we presented back in, I think it was March, for the awning permit itself, Eden was available and they had spoke to the ANC about, because it's a big thing. There's several properties and several blocks in the area getting ready to go through this rehabilitation. Boyan or Roberta, are you guys on the call?
Hey,
I'm
promoting Roberta now.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, and our architect Daniel Mayo is on the call as well. Daniel might be able to input on the Eden stuff.
Is Reynolds Allen also with you?
I can comment on the fact that so for the architect on this project, who I'm with, we've been sort of communicating with DDOT, and what they've sort of specified is that as long as we have the 20 feet free in the alley, we should be pretty good, and that's mainly for the fire lane. And I could share my screen and show you kind of where we're at with that. Let's see here. Oh,
I just announced myself. This is Reynolds Allen with Edens. I happen to be on the call for another reason. But I heard mention of Edens, so figured I could jump in and help with any questions.
Edens to the rescue, thank
just
you.
speaking to
right. Sorry, it's not allowing me to share my
Sure,
screen.
sure.
Okay.
So I think what Kim's speaking to is the overall Union Market streetscape guidelines. And so several years ago, there was a process that we went through with the Office of Planning and DDOT and many interested parties, including all agencies, related agencies, to go through a planning process for the overall streetscapes for the 45 acres of the Union Market District. And one of the concepts of that is actually activation of the alleys themselves. So they're used for service, but also to be used for specific activation. So this would fit within that set of guidelines. And you're starting to see examples of it recently with Sid Gold's Piano Bar that just recently opened, and actually the entrance is on the alley, just in the same alley as where Minetta Tavern will be opening. Pastis recently opened, and they also intend activation of the alley in the same way. And then Bread Alley, which has been open for a few years now, also part of the Steven Starr restaurant group, does have their main entrance on the alley as well.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Sure. Glad to help.
Are there any other questions from other commissioners or the public? Okay, hearing no questions or no additional questions from the commissioners, seeing nothing in the Q&A. Commissioner Arbuckle, can you place a motion on the floor for this?
I'd like to place a motion that we submit a letter. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was gonna say move to I'd like to move that we
I'd like to move that we submit a letter of support for this project.
Okay, can we get a second for Commissioner Arbuckle?
I'll second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner May, I believe first. Okay, I'll do roll call for the vote. 5D01.
Aye, that's a yes.
5D02.
Yes.
5D03.
Aye.
5D04.
Aye.
5D05, it's aye. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07. 5D08.
Yes.
And 5D09.
Yes.
Okay, well, the motion passes. We'll get that letter of support to you all. If there's any questions or follow-up needed, you know who to reach, and Commissioner Arbuckle will make themselves available. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. You have a
Thank
good
you.
night, Miss Patty. Have
Thank
a
you,
nice
guys.
dinner. Let's see. We have our BZA cases up next. Who is first? BZA case 21091. Who's here to present on behalf of this project? Oh, Commissioner Cobb, you have to make a statement.
Yeah, as usual, I am conflicted out of BZA matters, so I will go on mute and go off video, and I will not consider this, and I will vote to abstain, and I will be back when it's time to take our vote.
Thank you, sir. Okay, it says Elizabeth Stewart, but I'm pretty sure that's not her.
That's correct. My name's Michael Cross. I'm the architect of record on this project. I am probably joined here tonight by Elizabeth Stewart, who is the project coordinator, as well as Garima Gupta, who's the project designer. I'll be presenting tonight, though.
Okay.
Are you ready for me to begin?
Yes, sir. You can go ahead and start.
I'll go ahead and share my screen. As mentioned, we're here tonight to present on behalf of the client who owns 828 21st Street Northeast. We appreciate you having us back here tonight to remind the commission of the relief we're seeking. We're seeking two areas of relief. One for a rear addition that exceeds 10 feet, as well as one for the removal of an existing rooftop element. The proposed project is to become a 3-unit multi-family structure with a 3rd story and rear addition. 2 of those units are proposed to be family-sized units with 2 bedrooms, 2 and 2.5 baths. The 3rd unit will be a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath unit. Outside of the relief that we're requesting here tonight, all other areas of the design are matter of right. In summary, we began our outreach back with the ANC back in December. We met with the Zoning Commission in February. We revised our front facade to that which you see here following our meeting with the committee of the whole in March. And we presented first to this ANC on April 9th. Following that meeting, we agreed to postpone our BZA hearing. Based on the additional feedback, we revised our rear addition, reducing it by 3 feet, and presented that design at the last ANC. And then last Sunday, our client hosted an open house where we had the opportunity to speak to members of the community and received no further opposition. So to date, we've received 6 letters of support or non-opposition from members of the community, including one that states that they're not opposing us nor supporting us, from that neighbor who is most affected, the neighbor to the north. And so I'm glad to make a full presentation, but given the number of times we've met on this, but I'd take any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Again, friendly reminder to the public, Mr. Shaw Richardson, please use the Q&A for only questions, not comments. Friendly reminder to the public to use the Q&A feature for questions. And if you are a senior, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll be able to allow you to speak. We'll start with Commissioner McCollum is not here, so we'll go ahead based on the roll call order. 5D01, our zoning chair, Commissioner Arbuckle.
Hello. I just wanted to, as a zoning chair, I just wanted to just give a little context. This project we've worked on for about, it's been several months now. And so I did want to thank the developer for meeting with us many times. And specifically, I remember that the original facade was quite different from this one. And so I commend the developer for being responsive on that.
Absolutely. Commissioner Henderson, you had your hand raised.
Yes, I had a meeting, a single member district meeting on Saturday, which was the same time that Miss Julie Fletcher of your team had a meet and greet. And I asked her to push the meeting back, and she did. And she did get some feedback. I spoke with her yesterday. Some of the neighbors from this block did attend my meeting, which was also attended by Michael Brown, the building chief, the deputy building chief official. So they came out and they expressed that the building is too high. They were concerned about parking. Ms. Fletcher did tell me that you will have 2 parking spaces on site, with one person having to sort of fend for themselves with a parking space on the street. And she said that the project now has a setback, which reflects that the top addition is not visible from the street. And I can tell you that's not how it appears here. It appears that the addition is prominent and visible from the street. So unless we can see a rendering that clearly shows the setback that is not visible from the street, I don't see how I could possibly support this project. And I don't see how other neighbors would be able to move forward, because there was considerable concern about the disruption of the row. So I think that if you can convince us and provide tangible proof that your addition, that top floor, is not visible from the streets, I think you can move forward. Barring that, we're at a stalemate.
I appreciate that, Commissioner, and I know that my client has really appreciated all the communications that you guys have shared. As you mentioned, there are 2 parking spaces on this property. The zoning code only requires one space, so we're providing two. We would provide more, but the lot is relatively narrow at 17 feet. So legally, we can only accommodate two spaces. And as for the front facade, we are not seeking relief for the third story addition. That is matter of right. However, we have been sensitive to the scale of the neighborhood. And so we've provided a second story mansard roof and dormers that are very similar to that of the adjacent structures. It should be noted that this row has a cadence of high-low sequence. Our property is one of the high properties today. And so the fact that the roof raises up, we feel is actually in character with the neighborhood. And that third story addition is going to be visible. It is set back from the primary wall of the house by almost 7 feet and possibly 3 feet or more from the ridge of the upper roof. The camera angle in this particular shot is raised up to be kind of aligned with the second floor level. So when you're down on the sidewalk, it will be less than this, but it will still be visible. But as I said, that is not actually an area of relief we're seeking here tonight.
Okay, okay, Commissioner May, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, thank you. Just wondering if you could just, sorry, recap. So I know one of the areas of relief is the extension greater than 10 feet. Could you maybe just go over the areas of relief one more time and articulate how what's the right way to put this, significant the discrepancy or the difference is between what you're proposing and the reliefs or the standard regulation? I know we've talked about it before, but it'll help.
Yeah, of course, of course. So the current structure is shown here. The current structure is just about 24 feet deep. It sits on a lot that is 91 feet deep. And so when we're proposing a rear addition, our current rear addition, again, this is reduced by 3 feet, but our current rear addition is shown at 23 feet beyond the rear of the property. And it does exceed the 10-foot rear addition regulation. But what's unique about this particular lot and this row is that because the houses are so small relative to their lot, we are still proposing a structure that is conforming with the allowable lot occupancy, meaning the overall mass of the building on the lot. In fact, with the reduction, we will be under the allowable lot occupancy.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commissioners or the public? Don't see anything in the Q&A. Okay, I think this a motion be placed on the floor. Commissioner Arbuckle?
Yep. I move that we support this project and submit a letter of support for it.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Commissioner May. We'll go ahead and do a roll call to get the votes. 5D01.
Aye, yes.
5D02.
Nay.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Abstain.
5D05. I'll say aye on this one. 5D06.
No.
5D07 is absent. 5D08.
Yes.
And 5D09.
Nay.
Okay. I think that motion carries, does it, Commissioner May?
It does 4-3 with 1 abstention.
Okay, the motion carries. Commissioner Arbuckle, when we do this report, can you please include the comments that were made by the commissioners in opposition to this project, please?
I did not write those down.
No, we'll get the notes from our administrative assistant, but can you please make sure that those comments are included in the report?
Is that a thing that's done?
I think we would like to have those comments included just to make sure those were concerns that were addressed.
How about we talk about that after? Because I'm not sure it makes sense to have a letter of support with opposition in it.
It's just to make sure that the Board of Zoning was made aware that these were the only concerns addressed. But we'll discuss.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, we have I believe our second BZA matter on Florida.
If you are in the meeting and part of that group, please raise your hand so that we can promote you.
I think it's Mr. DePio, correct?
Should be Eric DeBear.
I'm here. Good evening,
Yes,
Commissioners.
Good to see you again, Mr. DeBear. Whenever you're available, you may start your presentation and we'll get straight to the questions.
Great. Let me share my screen here. I have a brief presentation. Can you all see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Great. Again, my name is Eric DeBear. I'm Land Use Counsel from Cozen O'Connor on behalf of the applicant, who is K2 LLC. This is a project at 1124 to 1126 Florida Avenue. It's a modification of significance, which I will explain in a moment. The zoning map is on this slide. You can see that the project is in the MU4 zone. The image you see at the bottom right is actually a little dated. As I'll explain again, the construction has come out of the ground on this project, and this request would be adding a penthouse to the approved project. So to give a synopsis of the underlying BZA case 18987, this was actually approved quite some time ago in 2015. The BZA approved a 5-story, 46-unit apartment building. Relief was obtained for floor area ratio and rear yard. The ANC supported this case at that time. And again, as I mentioned, the project is currently under construction and out of the ground. So it is well on its way after various delays, including due to COVID. So what we're requesting now to the Board of Zoning Adjustment is to add a zoning compliant habitable penthouse. So the prior project that was approved did not have any penthouse, and I'll show images to you all. The height of the penthouse will be consistent with the requirements in the MU4 zone. Including all setbacks will meet the 1-to-1 setback requirement. And actually the rear setback is almost double what is required. In the penthouse, you will see that it is providing 2 new units, as well as the second floor of what will be 2 duplex units from the 5th floor. What you see is what was approved by the board in the original case, and this is generally what is being constructed currently. And this is the facade facing Florida Avenue. This is the northern elevation, so facing the alley. And apologies, we did not have any color images of the northern elevation. This is actually snipped from the permit approved plan set by DOB. So what you see now is what's being proposed in this modification. That is the new penthouse level. You can see toward the top the 2 new units, and then toward the bottom, which faces Florida, the top level of what will be the 2 duplex units from the 5th floor. This will be the elevation facing Florida Avenue. Again, we only had black and white images, unfortunately, but the architectural design will be consistent with certainly what you saw approved by the BZA previously. And again, we're just adding the penthouse level, so not impacting the lower 5 levels whatsoever. Here's a better comparison. You can see what was approved on the left and what is being proposed on the right. Again, This is from the Florida Avenue elevation. Here's the proposed rear elevation. Again, a standard penthouse addition, not much more to add. And then you can see the comparison. So 5 floors plus a penthouse. And to give a synopsis of what we were requesting of the board, a modification of significance is needed when you change plans that have already been approved by the BZA. So while this is again, zoning compliant matter of right penthouse, because this project previously went through the board process, we have to go back through the board to add the penthouse. The scope of the hearing, which will be on July 24th, will be limited to the penthouse. So the board will not be looking back at any other aspect of the project. We will just, again, be asking for approval of that by right penthouse. With that, I will just say that we certainly met with the zoning committee, who generally received this positively. We met with the executive committee. I have also spoken with a neighbor to the back of the project who is supportive and has issued a letter of support. And then I know at the zoning committee, a next door neighbor on Florida appeared and she voiced her support as well. So with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. DeBear. With that being said, I'll open the question up or comments up to Commissioner Roblin, since this is in her single member district in South Trinidad. And again, ask folks to drop questions in the Q&A, or if you're one of our seniors, just to hit the raise your hand function will allow you to speak.
So neighbors are very, very supportive of this project. They've been waiting for it and so anxious to have it develop because of the problems with a pit. The area was called The Pit for years. I think it's almost 9-10 years since everyone was been waiting on it to get developed. Problems with rats, problems with mosquitoes, really bad. Problems with people going to the bathroom in other people's yards because they were spending time in the pit. So it was waterlogged. So everyone is pretty much very happy to see this happen and very supportive.
Was there any comments? Was there any comments on the actual project though, Commissioner Roblin? I know those neighbors just wanted to see something done, but in terms of the project, was there any comments or feedback that neighbors gave?
Sorry, yeah. The resident to the back was worried that the penthouse would obstruct more sun, but then Kevin Horgan and Hector did an analysis of if it would, and the building itself would obstruct the sun, but it was a minuscule amount that the penthouse, which is what the special exception is for, would cause. It really wouldn't cause any problems, extremely negligible. So for the special exception, it wasn't found to cause any difficulties for anybody.
Okay. Commissioner Arbuckle, comment, question?
I'm just gonna second what Commissioner Robin said at the end about the little shadow study that we did. And that resident did end up writing a letter of support, as Mr. DeBear mentioned.
Perfect. I don't see any questions from the public or additional questions being presented by commissioners. So I think we can place a motion on the floor, Commissioner Roblin, if you want to move to support this project.
Yes, I move that ANC 5D support this project.
Okay, can we get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Arbuckle. We'll do a roll call for the vote. 5D01.
Aye, that's a yes.
5D02.
Aye.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Abstain.
5D05. Yes. 5D06. Did Commissioner Henderson drop the call?
Looks like it.
Okay. 5D07 is absent, 5D08
Yes.
and 5D09.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We'll have that letter of support drafted through our zoning committee. Mr. DeBeer, if there's any other questions or concerns, you know how to reach.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks.
Okay, moving forward with tonight's agenda, we just have, I believe, we have 4 more items, so it's a late meeting today. Sorry for those still on. We have a resolution for a ceasefire of Israeli siege on Gaza by Commissioner Roblin. I think this was presented at the last meeting, and you wanted to present it at this meeting. Did you want to discuss, Commissioner Roblin?
Well, at the last meeting, we tabled it because there was some commissioners felt that we should have more discussion, which I totally agree. Commissioner Blagnell and Commissioner Arbuckle felt that we really shouldn't be supporting something somewhere else. Tell me if I'm getting this wrong, commissioners. While 5D needs a ceasefire because of the incredible amount of gun violence and crime. I don't exactly agree with seeing it that way, but I understand what you're saying. So I think it would be good if we discussed the issues. As far as the subject itself, I'm sorry, I talked about it last meeting, but I should talk about it again this meeting. Yeah, so October 7th was obviously unbelievably horrendous and never should have happened. But since then, Israel has been unrelenting. Israel has massacred more than 34,000 Palestinians, and 3/4 of them are children and women. So I think that it's time to really stop this and focus more on peace and stop the violence. It's not helping anybody. And people have expressed that, well, why are we talking about somewhere else when, that's a theme that people are feeling when they don't agree with this. But I feel that we should all be helping each other if we want to. We can all help each other. The more people support other areas, sometimes they support us. And everybody supporting each other is going to really help everywhere. Whereas if we only focus on ourselves, sometimes that's not enough support. I mean, if we were all helping each other, I think we'd get a lot more accomplished. So, this is basically to ask the council to support a ceasefire. That's what the resolution says. And the council has supported other international efforts. They have made statements and they have put out resolutions in other places. And many cities have supported this, have made a resolution for a ceasefire as well. I think Atlanta, I had it written down. Sorry, I think that I don't have it.
Commissioner Roblin, can
But
I ask?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
In terms of those other resolutions that you're referencing, do we know if any other commissions have done this?
I believe there are a few that have. Yeah, although I can't name them right now, but I'm pretty sure there are a few.
And they passed
Yeah,
those resolutions within their commission?
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure, but I was given this resolution. It was written by the Claudia Jones School for Political Education and by Tyler Boomershine and Rachel Baca, and they asked us to do a resolution for ceasefire, but they have also asked a lot of other commissions. We weren't the only commission they asked, of course. So I'm pretty sure there are a few. I should have found out what they are, but I didn't do that.
Okay, Commissioner May, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, my question is the way that the resolution linked in our agenda is written, it reads a bit to me like it is intended to be passed by the council. It says things like, whereas the Council of Washington, D.C. condemns, also things like, be it resolved that the Council of Washington, D.C. And I'm a bit concerned that that language wouldn't be right for us because we're not the council. I think you want to pass a resolution encouraging the council to pass a resolution, but this resolution reads like it was written for the council to pass.
I see. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that is the intention, to ask the council to pass a resolution. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, does everybody agree on that? Should we reward that?
I do agree that we should make sure that it's drafted properly with the correct language. And if you want, Commissioner, since we have recess in July, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our next COW meeting is July 30th. If we can get an updated version by July 30th and hold a consensus amongst the commissioners that attend that COW meeting with proper discussion, we can add that as a consent calendar item for August if we all have a consensus to pass it. Is that okay?
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much. And I got it here. Other cities around the country that have passed ceasefire resolutions for Gaza include Atlanta, Detroit, Oakland, Providence, Seattle, and Wilmington. And this was written months ago, so I'm sure there's some more since then.
Okay.
And oh, should I say some examples of what the council has passed? It was at the start of Russia's aggression into Ukraine, the DC Council passed a comprehensive resolution to condemn the attacks and call on Congress to implement sanctions. And earlier in this council session, DC passed a resolution calling for the end of the federal embargo on Cuba and to fight apartheid in South Africa. The DC Council passed a law removing all DC investments from South African companies in solidarity with Black South Africans. So the council has done it. Just saying. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm definitely in support of, folks stop killing brown people, especially if we're aiding in any of those kind of efforts. Either it's providing weapons or any of that kind. So let's work together, Commissioner Roblin, since I support the idea and effort, I will work with you to get that redrafted, and we'll have a full discussion at the next COW meeting in July.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, with that being said, Commissioner May, you're up next with our letter of support for the DDOT safety project on 17th Street. You have the reign here.
Great. Thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and just drop a link into the chat for anybody who doesn't have the agenda in front of them. So I've talked about this before. So for my colleagues, of course, you've heard about this. And if you've attended previous meetings, you've heard about the 17th Street Northeast Multimodal Corridor Safety Project. So this project makes or proposes important updates to 17th Street to make the corridor safer for all users. We're talking about a relatively tightly defined stretch of road that runs through 5D, right? It runs from Benning Road to Bladensburg, but that stretch of corridor connects further on 17th Street into the south and into other commissions, and then in Ward 7 and Ward 6. And then it also connects to Mount Olivet, which then continues up to Brentwood. So they're all part of the same project, though under different notices of intent, which is just the way that DDOT notices these sorts of projects to the public. So the project, as it pertains to 5D and the stretch of road between Benning and Bladensburg, will take that road, which is currently 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction, northbound and southbound, and convert it to a 3-lane road, 3 lanes for vehicular traffic, 1 northbound lane, 1 southbound lane, and 1 turn lane. It will install improved infrastructure to support pedestrians crossing the road, including it's going to improve, it's going to add some turn lanes at major intersections like Maryland Avenue. It's going to improve the intersection down at Benning Road where traffic flows off of 17th Street. A lot of people make that left onto Benning. It's also going to add refuges at 3 unsignaled intersections, including 2 that are right in my area on Lyman and Lang, and then 1 down in Commissioner McCollum's area near the Safeway. And those refuges will basically be a small cement island in the middle of the road in the same area as the turn lane, so that pedestrians don't have to cross the entire street at one time, since they're going across in an unsignaled intersection. Couple of other things to note: that there will also be a two-way, cycle track on the far western side of 17th Street. And this entire design, the cycle track, the 3 lanes with the central turn lane, that design will match what continues up Mount Olivet. And I should note that the Mount Olivet portion, which was separately noticed, and that was done a while ago, that is actually already under construction. They started building there last week. So they're already in progress on that front. My resolution goes into a lot of things, including, 17th Street is considered a minor arterial. Major and minor arterials are responsible for about 2/3 of traffic accidents that result in injuries in DC. There are also, I included some data about speed, because speed is also a big concern on this street. The way the road is designed, it encourages people to go faster, in part by allowing them to move around cars that are going the speed limit if they want to accelerate past. And we see that a lot. Those of us who live right along the corridor, it's hard to cross. People frequently exceed the speed limit. And the bottom line is, most people have about a 95% chance of surviving a car accident if they're hit by a car going 20 miles an hour. If you're hit by a car going 40 miles an hour, it's more like 20%. So your chances diminish. Chances of survival diminish significantly the faster a car is going. And we just see a lot of that. We had a pedestrian die in a crosswalk at the intersection of Lang and 17th last September. So we know that this is a dangerous corridor. I also just want to add some additional context. It's already a neighborhood with a lot of people in it. There are 2 big apartment buildings we've heard from the developers here in the ANC down at the south end near Benning Road. One is already operational. There's another one that's in progress at the old birthing center. That's going to bring an additional 500 apartments online right on the corridor. So the number of pedestrians using this corridor is going to continue to increase. So I think all of that, that's a lot of context just to articulate, the importance of this project to making the corridor safer for the people who are considered most vulnerable, primarily people on foot, seniors, children, but also it really will, I think, make it a safer roadway for other users as well, including drivers. It's a tough road to drive on. It's tough to turn onto or off of because of the 4-lane structure. It's going to make it better for a lot of different people. So the notice actually closes tonight, or the notice of intent. So my hope is that we can pass this resolution and add our comment before they wrap up. So with that, I will yield.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, friendly reminder, Q&A for the questions. I think we do have one in there. Do we? Oh, no. But Commissioner Arbuckle, you have a question?
A question exactly. I just
Comment.
a comment. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, this project looks really nice to me. I might even say amazing. I mean, the whole thing changing from a 4-lane to 2 lanes with turn in the middle is going to be a lot more. At least I think it's going to be a lot more convenient from a driving perspective, like a lot more easy from a driving perspective, because there won't be people trying to pass each other. Then from the 2-way cycle track is amazing, because as it connects to Mount Olivet, and then connecting to Florida, not to Florida, but as it connects to Mount Olivet, that'll help create a connection between from Union Market to Ivy City down to Carver Langston. I think that'd be awesome. And then I think I didn't realize that a pedestrian had been killed there in the crosswalk, but I think that really emphasizes the importance of the refuge. So this sounds like a great project to me.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Yes, I'm concerned about the bike lane project. And I would like to know, is this project more about putting in bike lanes versus making sure that pedestrians that are walking is safe?
From my perspective, it's both. So one of the realities of a road diet, as I think everyone here knows, is you're narrowing the road, you're taking away travel lanes in this case. So they have extra retail space. It creates space for bike lanes. 17th Street's also been part of a long range vision for DC's bike lane network. So that's not new. I think they originally published the bike plan. Cobb, you may know the exact date, but it was the mid-teens, so maybe 2015, 2016. It's been around for a while, that plan. But this project and the advocacy around it, at least among my neighbors, is really centered on the feeling of being unable to cross 17th Street as a pedestrian to get out of Carver Langston and not able to do so safely. That's been the primary focus.
Commissioner Cobb?
Yeah, I have 3 points. First, just to echo, first of all, great points from Commissioner May. I appreciate it. And from Hector, I agree about the connectivity here is key. Mount Olivet is going to go, if you go west, that'll go to 9th Street, to Florida Avenue, to the Metropolitan Branch Trail downtown, yada, yada. On the east right now, if you will take Mount Olivet, it'll just end on Bladensburg Road and 17th, and there isn't really anywhere to go from there. But with the 17th Street connection, that gets you down to RFK, Congressional Cemetery, the Anacostia River Trail, gets you all the way down to Pennsylvania Avenue, southeast. So it really provides an incredible amount of connectivity from our part of the city to all over the district. Second, for Commissioner Rhodes' question, it's a good question, and I agree with Reed that it's both. It's pedestrians and cyclists. When a bike lane is installed, that creates more space between cars and people walking, which itself adds, a buffer and helps improve safety and keeps cars from getting on the sidewalk. And then finally, I just want to bring up the point of modal shift, which is the idea that if you give people options in how they get around, some of them will try out different options. I know people who would drive up and down West Virginia, but now because of the bike lanes, they instead choose to bike, at least some of the time. But that means that's fewer cars on the road, which makes it easier for those who do choose to drive. So in a way, it's more safety for pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers, and reduce congestion. So it's kind of a win for everyone.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from commissioners or the public? Don't see anything in the Q&A. Okay, Commissioner, can you place a motion on the floor so we can go ahead and vote on this?
And I move to support the letter as presented.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arbuckle. Seems like it's only a few of us now. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
And any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries and we'll go ahead and approve that letter of support. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
We have the Better Bus Network letter of support by Commissioner Cobb.
Okay, thanks everyone. Just as Commissioner May did, I am dropping a link to my letter in the chat. So basically, just to set up some context, about a year ago, WMATA released their visionary, complete overhaul of all the bus routes in the district and actually the whole DC area. It assumed maximum budget, they could, best case scenario, really. But I wasn't happy with how it looked for ANC 5D. We lost a direct connection to downtown. We didn't have connection to hospitals or, recreation or anything like that. It really just seemed like ANC 5D lost out. So we passed a letter, actually tomorrow will be 1 year ago, offering our feedback to WMATA. And fortunately, it seems like WMATA listened. A few weeks ago, about a month ago, WMATA released their actual planned bus route upgrade, which assumes that It's not going to cost any more money, but it's not going to save any more money either. It's just neutral as far as the budget goes. So it is really kind of where the dream meets reality. But I think it's a major improvement for ANC 5D. We're getting back a direct line from Ivy City and points north through Trinidad to downtown, sort of mimicking the D4 today. We'll have a route that maintains a connection to Union Station and to Washington Hospital Center, so it mimics the D8. And we'll have other routes that mirror the B2, the X3, the X2, and all those that go through Carver Langston. And on top of that, we're actually gaining back a bus route. If you remember the X3 that went up Benning Road to Florida Avenue and all the way to Adams Morgan and maybe beyond there, that was cut in December 2020. But the new WMATA plan envisions a bus route that goes from Benning along Florida to 14th and U. So that provides an even, another connection to more northern parts of Northwest. So I think on balance, this is, given budgetary constraints, given, realities, I think this is a good plan. And it seems like WMATA will listen to us. So this letter basically just summarizes everything I just said and adds some more detail. And I think that we should pass it and tell WMATA that we appreciate their efforts, and hopefully this is what becomes reality.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's see if we have any questions in the Q&A. Ms. Sharkita McCray, I don't know if this is for Commissioner May or it might be for Commissioner May, but will there be separate lights for bikes and pedestrians in terms of the ease of the crossing of the street?
For yes. So, well, for those unsignaled intersections I talked about, there's no signal. It's just a cross. So anyone can cross there. For the bike lanes will go with the flow of traffic. So they will generally be signaled the same way as cars are. There are a couple of intersections where DDOT, based on community feedback, made sure there was a left turn lane, like West Virginia and Mount Olivet. And so there will be a staggered signals. So bikes will go at a different time than cars to make sure there is no left turning through the bike lane, that sort of thing. But pedestrians will have their own crossings.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other questions for Commissioner Cobb on the Better Bus Project letter of support?
I don't have a question. Well, kind of, sort of. I'm glad that they're continuing to keep our bus route, especially the D4, which goes from Franklin Park to Ivy City, and then the D8, which goes to the hospital. That's where we really, really need those routes, especially for folks that don't know how to ride bikes. We still need our buses. And the thing about the bikes, just really quick, are there going to be some kind of lights for these bikes? Because the bike riders are not respecting pedestrians. So therefore, pedestrians can get hurt from bike riders as well as they can from cars. So is there going to be some kind of training or some kind of special license that bike riders are going to have because they're not following regular traffic laws?
Is this directed at me or Commissioner May?
Well, this is about transportation, right?
Okay, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one. 2 parts on that. One, yeah, there are definitely some bad bike riders out there, and I think they give the rest of us a bad name, that's for sure. But let's not overlook all the bad drivers that we also see in the district, especially post-pandemic, whether it's license plate covers, illegal tint, fake expired tags, speeding, reckless driving,
or
running red lights, what have you. Second, the force of being hit by a car is just astronomically greater than being hit by someone on a bike. I have a heavy bike. I'm a heavy guy, maybe total 400 pounds. If I hit someone, that's 400 pounds of force, going 5 miles an hour. But the way that the physics work out, if a car of the same weight going the same speed hits me, or because if a car hits me going the same speed, it's actually 4 times more force. So, it's not proportional, it's exponential how much more force a car generates when it hits an object. And third, I lost my train of thought, but that's just what I have to say right now.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Commissioner Cobb, 100%. I don't think that the two are the same. I also don't think that pedestrians should ever feel unsafe, and that, but up against any mode of other transit. So whether it's bike, a car, what have you, these projects are intended to make the most vulnerable roadway users safer, and that is the key focus. Oh, and I'm not sure about you said one other thing and I forgot to respond to. The cyclists are bound by traffic laws and can be ticketed if they don't adhere to them. It's probably either a DPW or MPD question about whether they enforce that or how they approach it. There's no special license required to ride a bike, to answer your other question.
Commissioner Roblin, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to say that I attended the Better Bus meeting that they had a few days ago virtually, and we really got lucky because other commissioners are very unhappy. Many commissioners had buses taken away, and they were taken away from senior situations. They were taken away. It seems to me, I would characterize it as irresponsibly, that the Better Bus Network has been making changes that were not good in many areas. So I think that we really lucked out. I just wanted to say that.
And I just want to say 2 things in response to that. One, the letter only focuses on the bus routes that affect ANC 5D. I just wanted to keep it in our jurisdiction because that's what our original letter discussed. And 2, I think that makes it all the more important that we pass this letter supporting the changes that benefit us, because if we don't say anything, and those changes might disappear. And the people who are, criticizing the plan, some of the benefit may go to them.
Understood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Commissioner, I have a final question for us so we can actually vote on this. Nothing really with the subject matter of the letter, but more of the subject of the matter. It seems to be an ongoing discussion every few years with the bus routes, these D buses or other ones that affect 5D, that they might get cut. Do you foresee that ever happening, or do you even foresee this continuously being a conversation when MATA is looking at these bus routes? Like why ours on a continuous basis? Do you know anything about that?
Why ours on a continuous basis? Honestly, I don't know. Other than the X2 and the B2 are some of the highest ridership bus routes in the city, but those are never the ones getting cut. It's always the lower ridership ones, and I think that has something to do with it. Beyond that, obviously it's hard to look to the future, but at the end of the day, the biggest driver in determining bus service cuts are budgetary constraints. And I know WMATA has been working, they've been lobbying hard to get a permanent operating fund, like they have a permanent capital fund. And if they do that, that would be a game changer for Metro Rail and the bus, And, I'm hopeful that if WMATA is taking all this time to plan out these careful new bus routes and balance them all over the DC area, that they're not going to go, turn around in a year or 2 and propose that one of them be cut. So
Do we know of any efforts? I'm sorry, Commissioner. Do we know of any efforts of trying to increase, I guess, revenue from the bus routes? I take the D4 on a regular basis to go to work downtown, and I'll say honestly, maybe a third or more than a third of folks are not paying for the bus rides. And it's not that they have free rides with their cards, it's like they're literally just getting on. So has that been brought up in any of these meetings or conversations when it comes to these budgetary cuts or bus lines getting cut?
Not to my knowledge. The actual fare from a bus is only a smaller portion of
Their
the revenue. You know, it's really more the money sent directly from DC, Maryland, Virginia that contributes the vast majority to WMATA's budget. At the same time, though, I don't get the sense that WMATA is trying to put police on buses or anything like that. Like they're stepping up fare evasion at the metro stations, but they are doing, you know, affirmative things. Like, for example, they are putting card readers on the rear doors and allowing everyone to get on both the front and the back doors. And they've started implementing that. And it'll be all the buses soon, you know, so that you don't have to wait in the big line to pay. You know, you can just do it right there. So if you are inclined to pay and it's just a little too difficult, maybe you will if it's a little bit easier. Things like that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I think you can place a motion on the floor so we can move forward with the rest of the agenda.
Can I say one more thing? Do we have time?
Not really, but go ahead.
Well, I don't drive and all I do is ride buses. I ride buses almost every day, and believe me, it's not a third of people that don't pay. It's 90%, 90, at least in our neighborhoods, of people that don't pay.
Let's work on getting the right figure. That's a lot. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, Commissioner Koff, you're gonna place a motion on the floor.
Okay. I move that we support the letter as written.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of the letter of support, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Kopp, for writing that up. Okay, I think the final item was the
Stipulated license.
Yeah, stipulated liquor license. Mr. Allen, is that you presenting on the matter?
I am presenting, and business owner is also, I think, in the needs to be updated to a presenter as well as attorney.
List.
There's VA. There we go. Alam and Matt. Perfect.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, I'll share my screen so I can just orient you all to where it is we're speaking about. But thank you all for giving us time on your agenda today. We are here to request a letter of support for stipulated license for a new business opening at the Union Market District at our Latin American food hall, La Cosecha. Apapacho, which is a new business owned and to be operated by Chef Alam and his wife, Chef Elisa, is a new business and their first business venture here in DC, as they will be replacing a currently vacant space in the La Cosecha building. As Commissioner Arbuckle mentioned previously, the space was very suddenly closed by Las Himalas in January of this year. And we've been very fortunate to quickly meet Chef Alam and his wife, and are very excited to be adding them to the Union Market District and the La Cosecha market as a new business there. Due to this restaurant closing so suddenly, they are able to actually get open and operating very quickly. So they are prepared to enter in the process of getting their health inspection here either this week or next week, and then move on to business licensing, which would then allow them to pull their alcohol license. This location has had an alcohol license in the past, as Commissioner Arbuckle mentioned, due to the nature of how the business closed and the inability for us to then transfer that license on to the new business does require them to go through the licensing period again. But we are hopeful that we can gain a letter of support so that Chef Alam and his wife may be able to open here in early mid-July, rather than need to postpone until late August. And so we'd like to give them every bit of support possible so that they can open up as strong as best as possible as they start up their new venture.
Was that it for the presentation?
Yeah, I think so. Chef Alam may want to speak, but that was generally the context of it.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hey.
I'm Salam, my wife Elise. So we're very excited to get this opportunity to open our own spot in La Cosecha Union Market District. Are from Mexico. We have been working in the restaurant industry since more than 15 years now. And what we want to do there is to share traditional Mexican street food. We are going to make everything from scratch. Everything's going to be homemade, since the fresh corn tortillas, also some flour tortillas. We also going to have some margaritas, frozen margaritas, and micheladas. So what we want is to share Mexican culture there, focus on what we used to eat, what we used to like when we were walking in the streets of Mexico City. I am from Oaxaca, the street from Oaxaca. She's from Guanajuato. So that's why we came today to look for the support in order to help us opening this venture as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Arbuckle, aren't there already Mexican establishments in La Cosecha?
So there's the Arepa Zone, which is
Colombian.
Salvadorian. There's, or no, Colombian. There's La Casita, which is Salvadoran. But I don't believe there's any other taco place in La Cosecha, because I remember I used to go to Las Jimenas for that, and then there aren't any left, to my understanding.
I know there's
Unless-
taco establishments directly in Union Market, but in La
Yes,
Cosecha,
in Union Market there are.
in La Cosecha, from my understanding, there's a Mexican establishment that already serves alcohol there.
There is a Mexican concept that is coastal Mexican, which is Mezcalaro, which is also in La Cosecha. Different concepts, but they both happen to be from Mexico.
Okay. So, Mr. Mendez, are you providing something else other than what's already being provided in La Cosecha?
Yeah, well, we're doing the tacos. So what Escalero offers is more like a full service restaurant. We are going to do a quick service taqueria. We're going to focus more on tacos. We're also going to have some other street food items like fried corn quesadillas, fried fish quesadillas. The goal is to share these traditional flavors from south and middle part of Mexico mostly, and focus on street food. What it is now is more focus on regional Mexican. It's also really, really good, really tasty, but we are going to focus on street food.
And if we do not support this stipulated liquor license, will that delay your opening or anything at your restaurant outside of serving alcohol?
Yeah, it will delay the opening. We would love to open with all the full operation at this time. We are waiting to, hopefully this week, beginning of next one, to have our health department inspection so we can arrange the business as Reynolds says. And the goal is to open in mid-July with a full service, so we can offer people what we want to share with our concept.
Is there a reason why you presented this to the ANC such last minute? My understanding is that you gave this to Commissioner Arbuckle over the weekend.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think also one of the Matt can answer this.
Yeah, hi, sorry. My name is Matt Minora. We're from the law firm of Melius O'Brien and Sangron, and we're ABC licensed counsel for Apapacho. The reason that it came a bit, not last minute, it was about last week. We filed the application for the new ABC license last month, and it was just due to slow processing times at ABCA. We expected to have, and we're assured that we'd have the placards actually issued much earlier this month, and to our surprise, they're not going to be issued until the 14th.
Can you tell us when that was originally submitted for in terms of the license application?
Sure. Give me just one moment.
We get a lot of these requests, and I'm just trying to clarify.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay, so that was definitely 5 weeks ago. Okay. I that was all my questions. As someone who's Chicano, I do support any Mexican business coming into the area. But I have to be neutral in terms of these kind of stipulated liquor license requests. We get them a lot, specifically from Union Market. So we have to be very fair in terms of why we would support one or not. It seems like you all did your due diligence, but didn't get the items in a fair manner to not affect your opening, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, can you just tell us a little bit about the business, how many people you're hiring, Are you hiring people from Union Market, from Ward 5, or is it just folks that you know? Tell us more about the backside of that.
Sure. So for a start, we are planning to hire between 9 to 10 employees, between mostly back of the house team. I have been working in the area in DC for 3 years almost now. I know some people, but from my last employment, most of them are working right now. So I hope to bring only 2 people that I know already, and I'm going to start looking for the other team members in the area that are interested in work with us and be part of our team.
Okay, está bien. Commissioner Rose, you had a question or comment?
I have a question. Yeah. Why are we getting this? You might have mentioned it, but it didn't click. Why are we getting this at the last minute? And also, did you fill out anything for your security plan?
Commissioner Rhodes,
You discussed that with the commissioner about the security plan, or are you using was at La Crusacea? And why are we getting this at the last minute?
So if I may address these, the delay in the placards being issued and why we only reached out to you all closer to the actual meeting date than we'd like to do is because there was a delay in ABRA's end. We were told multiple times that we'd have the placards well in advance of this meeting, and then every time it came time for when we thought they'd be issued, we said, "Oh, sorry, it was delayed. Oh, sorry, it was delayed," and all of a sudden now is pushing to the middle of June. And if we don't get support for the stipulated ABC license, he can't even begin training with alcohol on the premises until August.
Thanks for clarifying that. And in terms of the security plan, can you clarify that? I don't know if that's under Mr. Allen or the owners, but since you're serving alcohol and you're in a new business in 5D, we would like to know what are your security plans in terms of keeping your residents safe and sane.
Obviously, Shovel, I'm going to have a number of ABC licensed managers on duty as required by the law, but there's not a specific requirement to actually fill out a security plan submitted to and approved by the ABC board unless it's a nightclub. I mean, overall, obviously, security provided for the food hall itself as well, so it's sort of double layered, but there's not a formal security plan filed with the ABC board just because it's not the type of license that requires it.
We're not talking about requirements. We're asking general questions and what we always ask when it comes to serving alcohol at their establishment. So like I said, it might be Mr. Allen that might answer this, but what is the security protocols for this establishment?
Yeah, we have on-site security at all times of hours of operations for La Cosecha that we provide as landlord for the entire property.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And can you confirm again when the business intends to be open and serving alcohol? Not the date, in terms of the days, times when the business will be open.
Sure. We just used the previous licensee's hours. So we applied for hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. daily with hours of alcohol sales, service, and consumption from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. during the week and 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. on the weekends. We literally
Mr.
just
Mendez, is that when the establishment's going to be open?
It's not
So we are
currently open that late. I think that's to allow extended hours, and there are occasions where there are later events that could go on. Sometimes La Cosecha is actually turned into music and dancing into later hours of the evening, but typically it's closing by 1 a.m. at the latest, or under our current operating hours. We would love to see the opportunity to extend those hours later in the future, but that's not currently, those are not our current operating hours.
Mr. Mendez, ¿puedes confirmar cuando están abiertos y cerrados? Can you confirm that information?
Yeah, so we are going to start, we're going to work with the schedule that La Cosecha is working now. So as I see, there is some events during the weekends that keeps open La Cosecha until 1 a.m. as Reno says, but normally it closes around 11. So that's the hours that we are going to start. We are going to follow the schedule from La Cosecha, the hours of operation of La Cosecha. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good to me. Commissioner Arbuckle, did you want to put a motion on the floor?
Yes, I would like to move to support a stipulated license, the letter as written, that I sent out to all the commissioners before this meeting.
Okay, can we get a second for that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roblin. All in favor of the letter of support for the stipulated liquor license for this establishment, say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Commissioner Arbuckle, if you can get that information to them and have us sign it, we'll be more than happy to support another business in Union Market.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much for joining us tonight. Buena
Thank
suerte.
you. Muchas gracias. Buenas
Mhm.
noches.
Adios.
Thank you. Hello.
Commissioners, is that the last item on tonight's meeting? I think we did
Yeah,
discuss.
except for like the community feedback, I guess.
No, in terms of any voting action items, was that the last item? I think we did discuss the leaf blower, but it seems like we should get the figures before we vote on that. Is that correct, Commissioner Roblin?
Sorry, sure, yeah, we forgot the microphones, but I guess we'll do that the next meeting.
Okay, we'll discuss that fully at the COW, and hopefully we can make it a consent calendar item.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. With that being said, this is the last portion for those last stragglers on tonight's call. I know we're over time, and our interpreters are still with us, which we thank you so much for being with us. If there's any direct questions or comments to the commission, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll let you speak directly. If there are no question or comments, at 10:21, I'll put a motion on the floor to adjourn tonight's meeting. Were there any final comments from the commission before we adjourn?
Thanks for sticking through it.
Okay, with that being said, I'll ask our admin assistant, Mix Vaught, to provide us with notes for tonight's meeting. And for the public, we'll make sure we get these notes and further information out to y'all later this week. I'll put a motion on the floor. I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting at 10:21 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
No seconds? I didn't hear any seconds. No, I'm playing.
Oh, I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Arbuckle. Those in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. We'll adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and thank you for the ASL interpreters. We appreciate your assistance. Y'all have a good night and stay safe out here.
Good night.